please.
David Shawless,
Here.
Ron Reeser, Pam Buffington. Here. Roy Jackson.
Here.
Sherry Alexander, Chris Graves.
Here.
Keith Shelby.
Here. Petitions from the audience. Discussion and possible action to approve the minutes of the June 22nd, 2026 meeting.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
All opposed? Discussion and possible action to approve the minutes of the July 13th, 2026 special meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, so we got a couple of things that is, we're gonna kind of jump around, skip around a little bit. One, we've got, there's Mr. Powell. We're gonna do, parks first, but there is discussion on, let me read my action item, which one it is. Action, number 3, action item A, discuss possible recommended council action to accept a bid in amount of $33,500 from Evergreen Weed Control and Fertilizer LLC for installing a holiday light display at Whitaker Park. A gentleman is here to kind of talk about it and go over it. We should have some information. You can step up. Mayor, you gonna chime in with this and kind of go over it?
I'll chime in real fast and then I'll turn it over to him. So the whole idea of
Everybody see the pictures.
the whole idea this year of the lights is, we got to do something to replace the antiquated lights that didn't get put up last year because they don't work. That's the bottom line. They're awful. And so as we got to thinking about it, we talked. Keith and I talked. We've talked with Frank a little bit. One of the things that we'd like to do is create a Christmas or a holiday, I think I prefer to say Christmas, but a display that encourages some walkability during those cold seasons, but also invites people to get out, enjoy the park, and kind of makes it interactive with the whole park. And so as we looked at this, we kind of thought back and forth what we could do, and option A would be, string lights here, and that really didn't work out, so what we did was, we threw some ideas together. I'm gonna let you explain, but I think what'll work is this will be something that we can build on going forward. It'll be something that as we incorporate our Citizen of the Year program that we just started, that Councilwoman Bradshaw is working on, we can do a lights on at the park. And that'll light up the whole park, and that person, that Citizen of the Year could be the one that throws the switch. We could have hot chocolate trucks out there, whatever we want to do to kind of really promote not just driving by Whitaker Park, but come and be in the park during those cold seasons. So go ahead and explain your idea, and I'm just going to turn it over to you.
Well, my name's Clint Elliott, and I'm the owner, and this is Tyler DeZort. He's my partner in the Christmas lights. And basically our idea for the first year's design is to basically get the whole perimeter of the park lit up, meaning every light post, every pavilion roof, putting up some Christmas trees and stuff, some lit up Christmas trees. Also a tunnel over the bridge, get the bridges decorated. So basically the whole park is lit up. And kind of what he was saying about adding to your Christmas light display, the way we have our business set up is that price right there. Your second year, we take 25% off of that because the design, what we call the design fee, is no longer in there. We've already custom cut the lights. We stored them properly. We've organized it. We mapped it all out. So that gives you guys the ability to add to your light show every year if you wanted to do that, or you could take the discounted price the second year, which I believe is 26 would be the second year.
Yes.
So in theory, if you wanted to spend that money every year, you would add roughly, $4,000 to $7,000 to $8,000 worth of Christmas lights each year. So you would see your light show grow. Kind of our business model that we use on all of our residential houses. That's worked well over the years, and I think it would work good on the park too as well.
And you store the lights and you put them up, so if something goes wrong, it's a telephone call and.
Correct. The way that we structure our business is we lease the lights, so we own the lights. Therefore, if something goes wrong out there, we go out there and maintenance them. If one light bulb goes out, we come out there 10 o'clock at night if we have to, replace a light bulb, or if a strand blows down, or squirrels chew through the lines. We go out there and we call that our maintenance program that we advertise as doing all the way up to the day before Christmas Eve. Now, a project this big, if something happened on Christmas Day and you guys really needed those lights fixed up, I'm gonna be out there to fix them up. And yes, we take them down, we store them. I always use this example, and I hope it never happens, but I store them on my property if something bad happens, a fire in the shop or whatever. We replace your lights at your discounted price. You'll never have to see that first year price again if you didn't add on to your light show at all. So basically, I would eat that cost in order for you guys to have new lights next year, if that ever happened. It's never happened, but I have to throw that out there. But yeah, that's it in a nutshell. Each year, we kind of reach out by email to say, when's your preferred time to get these lights up, so we can prioritize our schedule around what you guys want. And then we just schedule it, and we drive by our places often to make sure everything looks right on our own. I mean, I would imagine we'd probably be driving by 3 or 4 times a week just to make sure everything looks good.
We're gonna put a Christmas tree in that big spot,
Yeah,
sort of by the skate park.
yes, and then we also saw another one. When we first walked around, I didn't notice this, but there was another pole by the pond that we figured we might as well put another one there.
Oh, that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, and basically what that is whether it's with the utility pole or this pole, is we take what's called a mini, and we take it all the way down, and we wrap them real close together, so it looks like a solid color Christmas tree. And I think that one's probably 15,
Yeah, it's like 15 feet.
15 feet. And if you guys decided to bring a utility pole in, like a 20-foot or something, we could do the same thing there. We just rent a lift to do that one. And you guys, if you have a preference, you can pick the colors or the color scheme as well. And if you don't have a preference, we can run ideas by you to make sure you like the color scheme and stuff like that. But
Okay, questions?
Yeah, so just make sure I understand. So after this year, you come back by next year to put up just what we've leased this year, and that charge is $20-some thousand?
yeah, whatever 25% off of 33.5 is.
Okay.
I think it's 26 and some change maybe.
Okay.
And basically that residual price every year it's basically a lifetime warranty of lights as long as you're using us. So every year when we put something out, a bulb's going to go out in the off season or a strand doesn't work, we cover all those expenses. So it's no cost to you to replace or maintain lights at all.
What date do you have, a date that you commit to having them up by and a date to take them down?
Yeah, so when we talked, I think maybe the week before Thanksgiving, so that way after Thanksgiving, y'all can turn them on, and that gives us plenty of time to test everything out. So if your idea is to maybe turn them on the day after Thanksgiving, they're already ready to go. So I was thinking the week before, if we decided to get started a little bit earlier, we would run that by you.
Could we choose earlier if we wanted to?
Yeah, we will work around what you guys want.
I think earlier. I think the week before Thanksgiving is not enough time to enjoy it. I would say the 1st of November, to be able to enjoy it all the way through both months. Just my opinion.
We, forever, it's always done the week of Thanksgiving. 'Cause sometimes we're still going, or something, it's already November.
Okay.
Forever, I mean, 30 years that I know of, it's always the week of Thanksgiving. 'Cause it's a short week for us, so we would start doing it like Monday and Tuesday, and they would be on sort of like Wednesday.
Okay.
The week before might be fine, but I wouldn't go with the 1st of November.
What did we spend yearly for the stuff that we have? just far as part, replacement stuff and,
You knew, I swear that.
We were putting at least in labor alone, 10,000. Well, though, that's probably, I would say probably 6,000 to 8,000, at least.
That was what, in yearly maintenance costs?
That was yearly maintenance labor to put the new stuff in, plus
Okay.
the cost of the bulbs. And the bulbs were about $500 a box.
Jeez.
Frank, you were talking about, if we put them up earlier, is it something you have to mow around?
Well, I mean,
Yeah, so there could be like the Christmas trees that we're talking about doing, we'll probably have lamp wire strung out from an outlet to that tree to bring electricity out there. So there could definitely be some wires running across, the ground. Now, I could work on marking those somehow, if you were doing leaf cleanups or mowing.
yeah, a lot of it's final mowing and then a lot of it's like beef cleanup.
Yeah.
Is what we're-
But, that's another thing, if he's out there maintenancing and he hits a line, no big deal. If you call me, I come out there and patch it up and we're good to go. That would also be part of the maintenance deal.
Frank, do you see any downfall or problems by doing it this way?
Yeah, I don't know, them coming and doing it,
I think that's my answer.
Is that being sarcastic?
Just a tad.
Well, obviously in the room, we've had them on our office building the last 2 years. Everybody compliments them. Had them on my house for a couple of years. People that I hardly ever see would stop me and say, oh, I really like your lights.
Well, Frank,
What office
how
building?
would you feel about them being put up that week prior to Thanksgiving? Would that inconvenience you guys a lot, or?
or, I mean, there's times, like, I say we always put them up the week of Thanksgiving. Some of that varied with the weather. If we've seen a real major cold front or rain come in, then we would even put them up the week before.
Okay,
Or, sometimes they end up being the week after because we got hit with, some kind of.
well, thinking realistically here, how often, thinking back how many years you've been doing this, how often did you really have to mow a lot during that time of the year?
Oh, no, well, up to it, we may not be going weekly or regularly.
I mean, you have a lot of massive growth that,
Oak trees, leaf cleanup. and-
okay, so it's
So
basically just,
I would work with him, because we always try to do at least one final mowing and cleanup before we put everything
just
out.
before, makes sense, okay,
Yeah, a week or two prior, that'd be fine.
okay, thank you, Frank. One question for you, I'm looking at these displays here in the diagram that we were furnished with. All these lights, are they just solid lights, or are they blinking lights? It doesn't really say.
Yeah, sorry, they're solid lights. We do have the capabilities of doing alternate light colors, so like red and whites on the minis, or just solids. So we didn't really specify on the light color, because I didn't know if you guys had preferences on how we wanted to do that. So, for example, like your lamp post, I had mine like doing candy cane swirls on, I think all 19 of them.
Okay,
But I would want to run that by you guys to make sure that would be.
We even talked about like alternating red and white, green and white, red and white,
Yes.
green and white.
yeah. I just know, just from years of visiting various light displays, a lot of people are attracted to movement, flickering lights, things like that. It seems to attract a lot of people.
Sure.
And you're telling me all this is just solid on.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Solid on.
If it were discussed about adding the feature of making them blink or flash or whatever is there a cost increase involved with that, or no?
I wouldn't think so. I would need to talk to my supplier out of Tulsa to see if they even carry those. I buy from one supplier, commercial place in Tulsa. I haven't personally seen those through them, but I can check and do some research and just see what the cost would be.
Okay.
So I'd have to get back to you on that. I just don't know for sure.
Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead. The only thing is, going from experience, especially, and I'll just use this one as an example, and everybody's familiar with them, is Rama. Okay? It's never the same every year. They can't possibly mimic it yearly. It's too large of a venue. But there are a lot of various displays throughout their park that flash and move or do whatever. And it just draws.
Sure.
It just draws. Solid lights are great. I mean, I like lights regardless. But some people are just attracted to more movement.
That's a great idea. I'll do some research on that. I'll talk to my guy in Tulsa and see if there's something like that available.
Right.
If that's okay, and then
Oh,
if I can,
I don't have a
if I
problem.
can find something like that, and
Because even our old lights, they have, some of them are so ancient, but they still moved
right.
when they worked properly.
Some of those we may put into this display.
And that would be great.
That's what I was gonna chime in real quick, sorry, there was just too many men up here from a whole minute ago. I think what we do is we're gonna go through what's there. We know, we've got some of the snowflakes and some of those smaller things that are still good, they're still structurally fine. We talked about incorporating those in. The others that are not, we've had, the town of Salina has said they'd offer to buy them. We've got the guy at the Cross in Adair who we could donate them, but at that point, we'll have to make the decision to surplus those and then decide how we're gonna dispose of them. I really feel like if we could donate them, I'd rather donate them than try to make profit on them. I mean, I think if we can help somebody in that aspect, that would be great. There's not much, I mean, they're gonna have to put a lot of work and time into them anyway, so. But that's been discussed on what we can incorporate in. Frank's guys are gonna go through all of them to figure out what's working and what's not.
Well, with what you say you want to incorporate in that already belongs to us.
Yeah.
Okay, now, storage, hey, storage is a big thing. Every inch counts, I understand that. And with that being said, being that they're the ones that are gonna be housing all the stuff that we lease from them, this and that, what about the stuff that we would currently own? Would they house it for us, or?
I don't think, I mean, it's up to you, brother. You wanna do it, go right ahead, but.
If we could maybe go by and take a look at these and see how much room they take up. I have a 40 by 60 shop.
Right.
So I do use a lot of my weed control for that space, but we do have a designated area for Christmas lights. So if I could maybe take a look and see how much floor space.
Yeah, I mean, considering how much we may incorporate into what you're bringing in, if it's not a lot, if you would be willing to house that at the same, just put it all together. Because I know every inch of space that he has, he absolutely needs, and I realize.
We have, we've added some, approximately there's like 45 ornaments that we put out in the park.
Right. Now, I know.
They
we're not
take
doing-
up, maybe from the wall to the counter, about a 10 by 8, because they're just flat. like
Right,
big
they're
wall.
stackable,
So
so-
they lean up against the wall, and they're all just stacked up, and so they don't take up, honestly, too much room. Then we have like a big barrel that had all the cords and the certain,
Now,
all the
what
movement.
I'd really love to hear from you, young man, is if you would take on that responsibility, that you would be just so, you would keep that within the Christmas spirit and say, you know what, we're just gonna put that in there with the rest of them.
Yeah, I think we could find space in the shop for that. If it's not
That would be wonderful.
Then let's do that. I'll take them on.
I have another question. Since you were talking about flashing and things like that, at some point, do you think you'll ever have it to where you can, like, dial into a radio station and the music plays with the lights?
That is a goal of ours,
Awesome.
something that, we think we need to get into eventually. So yes, down the road, I think we're gonna be getting into that.
I think that would be
Yeah.
fun.
Well, and like as we're giving bids, even residential into this, our goal is that of our initial is, yes, a good display, but it's also just the starting point of then, as we look at it for the coming year with the discounted rate, what then could we add to it that could make it more, maybe it's the moving pieces, it is tuning into the radio, to a specific channel that goes along with music as you're walking through the park or driving by. I think that leaves us the room to be able to do those things, that we would love to work towards that. Because I think we have those same kind of ideas and goals as what the park could be. I'm from Woodward originally out in the Panhandle, and our hometown every year does a gigantic Christmas walkthrough display like this. And so we've talked of several different things that I can remember growing up, of different displays and things that happen within the park that I would love our park to have and to be proud of. And my kids go to Jefferson, so I'm driving by the park all the time and excited for that potential to see what else we could add and move forward with. We haven't done it in lights per se. I've messed with those types of things. I'm a pastor, and so through COVID we did the parking lot services, and so I've learned how to transmit through the radio and for services and things like that. And so I'm trying to incorporate some of those things I've learned in that realm into the lights and get more of that kind of stuff going. So I would say yes, definitely possibility and a desire of us for sure.
One more, you can tell I love the Christmas lights.
Yeah.
Back where I live at home, in the area that my mom and dad lived in, the trees, they're huge trees, and they have spears. They're like this big, lighted, hanging from the trees that look like balls.
We actually talked about that.
Oh, awesome.
The three of us talked about doing some of the trees.
That would be beautiful.
And, this is a starting point, but just the amount of lights they're gonna put out there is gonna be eye-opening. And it will be, it'll be better than we've ever had it right now with what we got.
There is something on that picture that, I think is different than when we walk around. I think it's a blue outline.
Yeah,
Those are stake lights that are ground lights. And
So you can put them around the pond for blue?
yes, because
To reflect on
we
the
wanted to
pond,
put more lights over by the pond for the reflection of the water to kind of help bring it out. So that's what those are in case.
yeah, I was kind of curious.
Does it show on, I don't remember, I've looked at it 100 times, the wreath on the non-walk across bridge, is that on there? We talked about putting a large wreath.
You remember how we designated
On the
that?
classic bridge?
8.
Yeah, we call that the classic bridge.
Classic bridge, yeah.
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 With the bridges being so close, our thought on that is the classic bridge is the older one. We could do the wreaths and garland to make it more of a daytime show, because with them being so close together, if we light them both up, they'll just blur all together. But if that traditional one is kind of more of a daytime show where you're looking across the lake and you can see the old bridge with the wreath and the garland, then the one behind it, the newer walk bridge, was the light bridge.
It'll be a good place for like family pictures and things like that.
There is electric on the island too.
I was just gonna ask.
We talked about the island.
Out there.
Remember the big OU light we put out there on the island? You can see that thing probably in show notes.
We noticed the electric box on the island too.
We
Oh,
will
yeah.
kayak out
Yeah.
there if we need to.
Yeah, for sure.
You gotta watch the ducks though, they get on the course.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be a fun maintenance call. Let's see what else I was gonna say.
These guys are local. They're from around here, Adrian Pryor, so it's not like
Okay.
we're going to have somebody come, Tulsa or some other place. It's
We're shopping,
our money
we're
local.
shopping local.
We're-
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Well, like I said, my kids go to Jefferson, so I drive by that park twice.
So
a
you're
week, 5
gonna
days.
light up each pavilion, is that the idea?
Yeah, we wanted to hit every pavilion.
Okay.
And I know what I was gonna ask. The outlets on the lamp post, all those lamp posts are working and those are on the timer. Is
Yeah,
that
that's
correct?
how, the trail lights,
Yeah.
they're, no, we can put them on the timer, but they're on dusk to dawn eyes out of the ground.
Okay, so it's a photo
That's from the
source.
start with the snowflakes.
Okay.
So sometimes lights will still be on, even when we get to work in the morning, they're all, but the trail light, they're not on individual eyes, it's one at the bathroom. So like they'll all.
So they will all come on at the same time, show up. Okay,
The
that's
ones around the
perfect.
pond are separate, but the
Okay.
ones around the trail they're on one eye, and the ones around the pond have an eye on each individual light. Because they're installed separately.
Okay. Well, any place that's not on a timer, we also provide the timer. So all your pavilions will be on a timer. And probably what we would do, unless you had a preference, is have them kick on about 5:30, 5:45 is what we usually do. So whenever it does get dark, they're all on. so one pavilion may come on, and then maybe 30 seconds later, another one, and they probably won't all come on at the same exact time, so if we have them come on before it gets completely dark, it'll,
Okay.
That's unless, I mean, you're okay with whatever the photo cells on those trail lights do, we can tie them all into that as well, and it'll just all come on.
Yeah, that's true.
But it'll just stay on, it's just whatever is
Everything
in
we
the way.
had before was all when it dusted on. Even
That's the dawn, yeah.
the regular ornaments throughout the park, I just went and bought like regular eyes. We actually, wired the eye up, so they were all just on and dusted on everything. So they're all, like you said, Mike, every eye is a little bit different.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, we could come with our own to really dial it in, or just use the existing, and it just depends on how long you guys want to run them dusted on, that's fine. It's all LED bulbs, and so,
Be
the
bright.
energy pool isn't that much, but the brightness is, yeah, it'll shine for all night, especially the amount of lights that we're talking to put in there, it'll be bright.
Couple of quick questions. When do you pull them down?
So we generally start the 2nd or 3rd of January, and we typically tear them down in the order that we put them up. That doesn't work all the time, so a project like this, I personally would like that done and put away as soon as possible. So this would probably be one of our first ones, especially if we have decent weather.
So we're looking right after New Year's, immediately.
Yeah, we leave them up for New Year's, and then, just depending on whatever that following Monday is after New Year's is when we get going.
What about vandalism?
Okay, that's another good one. So we had a customer in Grove, a restaurant that we did, and got lights on their building and it looked great, and the vandals started coming. And we didn't know it was vandals at first, but I would drive all the way from Big Cabin to Grove, fix them up. She called me again the next day, they were ripped down, and then we found out, there's not much we could do about that. So she made the decision, you know what, I just can't have them up there. I'm not gonna be able to have them up there. Somebody's gonna keep doing this. So instead of just taking her lights, and just putting them somewhere else, we took them to her house and added it to her house light show. So as far as vandals out here, we kind of suspect that's going to be a thing. And, we're gonna include that on the maintenance. If it's one of those things that's maybe like an every night thing, then maybe we think about putting cameras up, because somebody be damaging city property at that point, and that's, I would guess, pretty serious. You guys are.
Do you have a lot of vandalism with Christmas?
lights was a hit and miss. They actually may go for years and not mess with the lights. Then there's years they went and cut every freaking cord we had, like the horse carriage and the horses had like 40-some cords or cuts just on that one. And there's like 3 out of the 45 that weren't cut. So, a lot of times what they do is just unplug the cords, or like the ones that were motion, and they have like certain cords controlling it, they would change.
Don't give them too many ideas, Frank.
But,
They'll figure out.
yeah.
But I guess you guys are self-insured,
Yes.
it sounds like.
Yes.
So, you mentioned that on, I think you were talking about if something happens at your home, at your house where they're stored, then you're not self-insured there. In other words, we're liable to replace the lights if something happens to your building and the lights are in it, is that correct?
Well, as far as the insurance goes, I probably wouldn't dip into the insurance. I'd probably go dip into my pocket to replace the lights and then replace it at your
Okay.
property. So either way, you would not be responsible financially if something did happen like that at my home.
Okay. It might, have you guys, are we signing a contract with you? Or is this just a verbal agreement, or?
What we've done so far are just verbal agreements. I mean, we've mainly done residential, a few commercial places, but everything has always just been verbal. If we need to do a legitimate contract, I'd be more than happy to do something that you guys approve of, and we could sign that, and then if that's a sense of protection.
I tell you what we find out is these contracts get signed, we change administrations, the next person that comes in looks at it and goes, oh, there was a contract, and it helps if there is a contract, so we've known, versus it's just a verbal agreement. That's not my call. Well, I don't know. Maybe it is if we're signing as a park board. We'll weigh in on that, but, something that you might think about so that everybody knows.
Sure.
This is what the agreement is.
I am in agreement with Chris there. I think in all essence, a contract is probably the wisest thing. It protects you too.
Sure.
And it protects the city.
Yeah.
And everybody's happy at the end of the day. So everything that we've discussed, that we've agreed upon here and whatnot, and it's all put out there, there's no quarrels about what's to be expected.
I agree.
Well, I think what we do is, if everybody, any more questions about it, I think we approve it, and then whenever we get ready to, however we finalize it on the city side, mayor can get with Chase and they can get something drawn up.
At least by the time we make payment, we need to have a contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Anybody got any questions about, I think once you see what the park looks like after this, it's gonna be amazing.
Anything
I
has
mean,
to look
it's
better
gonna
than
be a
this.
game changer like we've never seen, because when you think about it, we've always had these older animation, the entire park is gonna be lit up, not just
Yeah.
here to there, or just there.
That brings, interesting, just how many lights are we talking about? Do we
Well,
know?
Yeah.
Going
Yeah,
according
it's
to
on
what
that
I'm reading
paper.
here, there's a
Is this a
lot.
home of 100,000 lights or
Well,
home of 10,000 or?
So when you see minis on there, that is a 25-foot strand, which I don't remember how many bulbs.
133 mini stands,
Yeah.
strands.
Well, that's probably for one section, because I know like
Right.
the big Christmas
19
trees, another
poles.
200, 19 poles.
It's a lot.
17.
That's a lot of lights.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
You'll be able to see, you'll be able to see it from Elliott Street.
If you used to
Very
be
easy.
able to hide in the park, you won't be able to do it now.
No.
It will be bright.
That's gonna be completely different than we've ever had the park ever.
Will look professional.
Well, I know I always enjoyed for 20 years of watching my kids grow up and taking them up to that park just to see what we had existing, so I'm looking forward to
Yep.
something like at this magnitude.
Sure. And as far as checking out your guys' lights where you have them stored now, is there a good time where?
See that, talk to that man right there.
Okay.
Yeah, that way too, you can discuss with him for when the takedown is and what we're retaining, how you want to store and take away and.
You know, that,
Yeah.
the big key part is Frank has 0 people that he's gotta dedicate to worry about lights or,
Yeah.
taking them down, putting them up.
This relieves a lot of burden on Frank.
Do a lighting event to like bring food in? Yep. Kind of food truck thing, somebody.
That's great, like a food truck, hot chocolate trucks, citizen of the year, be able to kind of throw a switch and. Sweet. Yeah, make it an event. And that'll be in addition to the lighting in downtown, lights on downtown. So it gives a whole other event. And again, the main goal is walkability. We've talked with TSAT and those guys, see if they want to buy into it a little bit. That's kind of what they do, is if you can get people out working and moving, they'll jump on board and be a part of it. So those are all possible funding sources.
There is another idea that he came up with that it may not be this year, but in years going forward, if you want to explain that, Memorial
Oh,
Christmas tree
yeah,
decoration.
yeah. So I talked about, where I'm from, it's Crystal Christmas out in Woodward. What they do is I think they're like $50 per, like this 3-foot lighted Christmas tree, but they're memorial trees where a family can purchase a tree in honor of so-and-so, and it's placed along the trail. So it's just another aspect of getting out to it. Families can purchase these memorial trees. We can place them along the walking trail, and then every year you can go out and go see, grandma's tree or whoever it is that you purchased that for. And it's just another, cool way for the city to be involved and people to have some pride in it, but then also a way just to be able to go out and walk the park and go along the trails. And
And you store those also?
yeah, that would be something that we would do. And that's just what,
You'll sort
Boy,
it out.
your warehouse space went from this to this.
well, I think I know, I think we're, the displays, and we can figure those out pretty easily. But these trees too, from what I've seen from back home in those ways, they stack together. But then every year, however we're gonna work that, the system there is, it's like, I think it's like $50. The family pays to get a little placard that says in memorial of, and they stick it on that tree, and then they place those out. And they're like metal framed wrapped lights, and then they go out on the trails, and people go out and walk, and every year go find so-and-so.
It's kind of an interesting idea.
Well, it's like
It's a
the
pretty good
cancer
idea.
walk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that kind of
How
like,
we
yes.
bought the luminaries, and then we put people's names on them, and that went over one.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, I try to think, I mean, there's several hundred of those trees at that display, from my hometown back that way. It's a lot.
Cool around the pond.
Oh, yeah, you can put them around the pond. I think, I mean, if that's something moving forward, it would outgrow the pond pretty quickly. But yeah, it's just another way to get people out.
we got Bobby Bud.
Yeah,
But-
that's,
Yeah, there's several different ideas, and this is again something we can keep kind of, like I said, we've got ideas to keep rolling, so.
I apologize if you answered this, I got sidetracked.
Yeah.
What are the logistics of wiring, providing electricity to those?
To those, it would be tying into something existing that would bring that main power source. In our lamp wire, think of, I mean, the size of like an indoor extension cord is what our lamp wire is, and then we could run that from existing, from a lamp pole or from a pavilion, and then those trees all daisy chained together.
Okay,
So,
so you guys, actually, when you install them, you install the wiring?
yep, all of that, yeah,
Okay.
yep.
well, one thing I will add to this, and Frank, out of the 20-plus years I've had the enjoyment of those park lights, I thank you for what you and your men have done. So keep up what you're doing.
Any other questions? All right, so is an action item. So it was to accept the bid at an amount of $33,500 from Evergreen Weed Control and Fertilizer LLC for installation of a holiday light display at Whitaker Park.
Make a motion to accept that.
Okay,
Second?
roll call, please.
Chalice,
Yes.
Buffington,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Graves,
Yes.
Shelby.
Yes. All right. Mayor will get with you, and we'll figure all that stuff out and kind of hammer out how we're gonna do it and contract-wise, but
Okay,
We
colors
look-
and all that stuff, we'll
Yep.
work all that stuff, okay,
Yep.
cool.
one of us will get in contact with you.
Well, appreciate y'all's time, and thank you so
Hey,
much.
thank you.
Thanks for coming.
We'll do Frank's report right quick, and then, we've got one item to discuss about the golf course that we're gonna discuss at unforeseen business. So, Frank, you can give your report right quick. You're mowing like crazy, slowing down a little bit.
It's starting to, dealing with the heat, so kind of, work real hard in the mornings and afternoons, but been pretty busy. The doors, overhead door and concessions doors got put on the new bathroom, so hopefully that'll start rolling along. I think the framers have been contacted on the walls, and so I think once that's done, it'll move pretty quick. Did he? Oh, so I want to hand out a big thanks to Blake Mullins, is the kid you see a lot at the tennis courts every day doing tennis lessons. And man, he's brought on tennis back so much. And like this weekend, what was the tournament they used to have for years?
The Webster?
Yeah. So that's kind of what he brought it back, and that's what they had this weekend. And he said they was projecting 175 all over the state, a few out of state. And I mean, he's brought it on big. And then his dad got handed out to Jeremy. They came and power washed the whole course at the end of the week themselves, or he did it by himself. And so we kind of helped really spruce up all around the courts. But yeah, he's done a lot for tennis. I think they're doing one more tournament this next weekend, and then we'll go back to the pickleball on those. But as much as he's done for the tennis, though, it's just, man, I guess they traveled to Tulsa, and they've won all kinds of tournaments, his players.
Really?
Yeah.
And we don't have any pickleball people out there protesting, do we?
Just a
Well,
few.
I will
Well, I
say-
got.
I will say I'm getting calls, and, wow, the pickleball courts nets down.
Yeah.
And so,
We put two up, you
They're-
know, for a
they're-
while. and
Chris, the pickleballers are out dinking around.
yeah.
then-
But what, go ahead, I'll let you finish with
We done the two, you know, and then, before the tournament, and then, after this tournament, then we'll put all four, you know, back up for him. Because the biggest thing is with, back to the bathroom, and not, still not having electric, and it's the lights. And the pickleballers, and even Blake with the, trying to coach, he said, doesn't come fall. I think the electric will be back on by then, though.
Yeah.
But,
So is the electric not on yet?
No.
oh, no.
Okay.
No, I'm gonna guess, what, a month or two?
No, next summer. No, if the framer can, and I talked to them today, if they can get those walls up, then we'll get the electrical back out, get it started. But also that said, you've got to switch the doors.
Yeah.
The push bar doors that go in the bathroom got put on the two doors they don't belong on. So I think that'll just be an unbolt and switch them. And then there will be some cost accrued with the framing and things from the inside, cost of materials. But we also have $5,000 coming from Ray. Ray's going to do that, so all of that will be applied to the interior of that building as well. And then you talk about the Mullins. Jeremy Mullins sent me a thing yesterday. I guess he's got some fans that are like wall mount fans that he said we could use for the outside of that building if we needed to put under that pavilion. So that'd be nice to have out there as well. Oh, and then,
Guesstimate on when electricity will be back on?
well, it really depends on when they get those walls up, because you can't do the electrical if we don't have the walls. And they're supposed to start, like I said, he said, start today. My thought is I'm gonna try to get electrical hooked up by this weekend or the first of the week. It really depends on that framer, you know. We'll still have to purchase some commodes and then eventually some wall dividers, but that's not a big deal. That's a trip to lock. And then the last part was the ice machine.
Yeah.
So,
Some landscape around the building.
yeah, the ice machine that GRDA donated, the $3,800 ice machine, it's a big one. That's a 10 by 10 room in that concession area. We have a little problem at the golf course. The ice machine at the golf course is only this wide.
Yeah.
So my thought is, let's swap them. They're running out of ice. They don't have enough time. Like, that little concession room can use that smaller one, and it'd be a better use of the space. Let's put the big one at the golf course so they're not running out of ice all the time. So I told Frank, we'll bring that down, we'll have it installed, and we'll just swap them out. So,
How old is the ice machine out the
it's
golf
not
course?
very old. I mean, it works just fine. It's actually a really good ice machine. It's just,
Just smaller?
it's small. I mean, I can barely get my shoulder down in there to scoop. So,
Okay.
when you say Mike,
They used to come and get ice out of our ice machine in our break room. So ours is a giant one, but yeah, so they was more than welcome to get, you know, that. But on that note, so I'm working on cameras and these
I was gonna
locks.
bring it up, I was just let you
So,
start.
and then, so it may, Whitaker and Centennial will be, they put cameras around our shop, Whitaker's next. And then, I don't know if y'all have seen, we've been getting hit hard at Centennial lately.
I was gonna
Any
ask
reason
why
why?
the
Man.
bathrooms out there
Just,
were locked.
I don't know. I've been told there's a group of kids at the apartments that's been seen doing things even over there, and they wonder, or they've been hanging out. I don't know how much to say right now, but just,
Yeah.
got our eyes out, but yeah, and then, you know, Centennial don't get hit as hard or as often. But it seems like when they do, it's, man.
Pretty rare.
And then, you know, they don't really, the different paints they use, you know, it's not like you just go in there and repaint these. You know, all that stuff keeps bleeding through, you gotta use certain primers sometimes. I mean, it turns into a pretty good job, and when it's 100 degrees and you're in them hot bathrooms, you know, it wears.
Well, I mean, I understand, because there's a lot of people complaining about it being locked, but at the same time,
But we're working on cameras and then these new special, like, locks on doors also, so hopefully the park's fixing to make it, within this next year, it's gonna be a lot more secure or, you know, catch you now. But, I'm fixing to go counsel with the new hire at the cemetery, so,
awesome.
Good.
Cemetery looking, any issues, problems going on up there?
Towards the end of the summer, like always with the kids, it gets sporadic. We end up getting rid of one. So I got supposed to meet with another one tomorrow. So then I told the guys to go ahead and start their, like if they get it weeded down, when they get it weeded down, you let it grow a little bit and then spray.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and spray, start spraying. So haven't heard about when they're gonna start the wall, the road bank.
The road deal, they're waiting on, Dale's waiting on the one that won the bid for that. He's got to gather some of their bond paperwork still. So as soon as they get that in, they'll be able to start. That's been awarded and done.
Okay.
They're just, but that'll be quite the project.
So other than
Is the
that,
cemetery doing well? I mean, is it up or down, or? Are you-
like for burials?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's way down, I think, than the way it used to be, but I think that just more people doing cremations and don't necessarily, not everybody buries the cremations or out of town. Yeah, it used to average like 120 a year, and I think the last 2 or 3 years, it's been cut back to about 70,
Really?
which is helping us on the, and we're still going to get ready to plan on opening new sections this next year, but it's not, hadn't been as the rush like it was there for a while.
Any other-
And I'm even including cameras out there.
Any wants or needs that you need for the cemetery or park?
So my plan is the park, I want to do this, the big plan for me is I want to do a toddler area
Fence it?
east of the pond and actually have it fenced off, and then for the little kids. Going to see, what else, I had a list going.
I know. Dave-
Christmas lights,
Well, and I think the Christmas lights deal will be a tremendous,
Yeah.
that's one less thing you don't have to worry about anymore, and
a lot
out of
of
sight, out of mind.
and then secure the lights or lights, cameras and doors. So
I know-
that's my big things for the park and cemetery. I'm working on, thinking about trying to get a new dump truck. May have to replace the south fencing. We done the east fencing a couple of years ago in Graham. Other than that, I think.
I know David talked to me a little bit about Trader's Day, and I kind of told him that the reason why we had moved it. And I guess there's some more questions about the area still,
Yeah.
David?
Where they have it existing right now, how it's set up now, I understand why they lost their privileges. That aside, where they're currently at right now, it is kind of dangerous, because I would go down there and shop and just, go around. Even if you block it off, people are moving cones and still ripping up through there. Somebody wants to walk across the street, and you got a car barreling, but, around that curve down there, it's dangerous. It really is. And it's such a small area. Now, what I'd like to see is it expanded back to the way it was. Now, I understand why they lost their privileges before, but we would be, at this point, starting with a clean slate. First off, the person who was in charge of it, unfortunately, God rest him, is no longer with us. But
The car, I will say though, the cars driving on the trails don't happen.
oh, no,
That-
no, I don't
that
agree
was-
with that one bit.
That was a big part of it.
That's definitely a deal breaker.
Yeah. that was-
But what I'd like to see is it incorporating, coming back to what it used to be from what I remember, because it drew in more vendors. And then once the vendors get comfortable coming back continuously and it gets larger, and I'd like to see it shared between the east end and the west end. 1 month it's at Whitaker Park. The next month it's at Bobby Buck Park. Because let's face it, we're going to be investing a lot of money into that particular park, and I'd like to see it utilized. And why not bring that over there? Let the people on the west end enjoy a Trader's Day in their own backyard. Let it bounce once a month between the two. And then when you have increased vendor participation, okay, now they're more likely to come into an event that the mayor may be holding in town and say, oh, you know what, they've treated us good at the park. I want to set up down there as well.
That's,
I'm trying to think long
I'd
range.
like to see everyone I go to, or like where my daughter lives, it's always like saying it on a concrete parking lot at a church, somewhere, not at a park. It's somewhere you go downtown or like on a big church parking lot. It's somewhere, I've never gone to one where it's at a park. I mean, it's just,
So I've got a question, David.
Yes.
Just for conversational,
Yeah.
would they be interested in going to Bobby Buck and making that their home?
well, I'm gonna, once again, not about a Bobby Buck deal, but with the accessing it, they're not gonna be happy. Yeah, because it's either ditches, and then
All the ditches are steep.
the ditches, and then we put the pipe cables because people are driving into the park. And that, trust me, that park's soft. If it rains and they try to drive out in it, they're not getting out. That's,
Okay.
and, but you can't drive out in it right now unless you're
There's a possible
pulling.
another option for Trader Day, if you want to think about it.
The green space, that's what I was just thinking.
It's right here. There's ample parking.
Right.
Downtown.
Either way, I think it is beneficial to everybody because you're moving it. And it's like, what are we doing today? We're gonna find the Trader Days, and go to it. I just wanna,
Would be good.
and I would love to
That
see
means
it.
kind of what back what I was talking about. It's always a designated area,
That would be good, because there's plenty of parking,
And then that would
Yeah.
help downtown.
and then it is downtown.
I mean,
I think the only thing we need to consider there is if that's the route that you want to kind of encourage, which I think is brilliant. We just need to make sure that the MOU that the landowner has with the EDTA, or will have, is going to be copacetic with that.
Right.
I don't think it will be a problem, but I don't want to speak out of turn. But that's what we've talked about, is possibly just maybe the green space, it's.
And, I mean, the options are endless. I
actually
just
like
want to
spaces
see,
better.
I just want to see Trader Days grow again, utilize our parks. I want to attract people to our parks.
Problem
And-
is, somebody was always in charge of setting aside those items.
Correct.
And so, again, it becomes, somebody's gotta be in charge of.
Somebody has to be willing to take on that beast, and I get that.
Is
First-
there somebody from that community that wants to take on that responsibility?
Well, I am talking with a couple folks because they're the ones that brought it to me to begin with. So if you're gonna bring something to me, I'm also gonna ask to see if you're willing to step up to the plate. So it goes both ways. I'm trying to make something happen here in a positive light, so you work with me positively and see if we can't come to some kind of consensus and
That'd be
work
good.
it out. So, but that's what I want to see. I want to see it grow again, because right now it's fizzling out. And I'd hate to see that disappear. I mean, I saw that park would be filled with people when that was there, when it was just lined all the way down the trail.
Ivan did a lot of stuff on the backside to talk to people and get them. to
Oh,
come
I,
in.
I have no doubt that he did. I mean,
It was a big deal.
he was a good salesman. There's no doubt about it. He was a good salesman.
From what I
So,
recall, it always did well when there was an event paired with it. Otherwise, it's always kind of been somewhat stale. But when there'd be a car show kind of coupled with it,
Yeah.
smokes. I mean, Locust kind of does similar things, you'll see on Facebook and whatnot. That they'll couple their Trader Days with events that would
Well.
drive more people.
That may be that may be an event thing that we need to
gonna-
just kind of put to paper and see, get somebody from that group that wants to be in charge of it. And
yeah.
see if we can work with them and. make
I'm
it
gonna talk, I'm gonna continue to talk with the people that I know and then see who they reach out to as well. I'd love to just sit down with a whole room full of them and see what their thoughts are on
That's fine.
this. And then take it from there. I just wanted to get this on the table and dust everything off and see how everybody felt about it. And what I'm gathering is, I think we've got something good. We just gotta iron out
That was the big deal, because it's a lot of time, and again, like I told you, there was numerous times people would drive to the bathroom.
Yeah, now
They
that I,
could literally walk.
Yeah.
They
It wasn't
don't
even,
drive
it was to the bathroom, but this seemed like
all the time. Yeah.
people got after that. It's like, I don't know if they seen them drive. We were just having issues during the day. People just be driving around the trail and it's
so you
like.
can't have that. And that would also be something too with this group, if it came full circle and would take place, that the rules would be established, but also it would be told to them, all it takes is one infraction, and everything that we've worked hard to rebuild is gone.
Well, the one that done it was when they hit and totaled their car out, and you had mud, fire, and ambulance there.
Oh, my goodness.
What if that'd been a person or a kid or, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
they hit that,
Oh,
we
I-
couldn't
they
believe
hit
it.
it
Oh,
hard,
that was the joke with the mud. It was like, well, if y'all installed them, you done a heck of a job, because that car was just crushed in. And, right there by the wooden shelter,
I
by the
remember
new
that.
toy.
Well, I'm going to do a little bit more research on this,
Okay.
and as I progress, I'll bring to everybody's attention and see where we're at from there.
Speaking of mud, I'm handing out another thanks to them. They help me out with some trees sometimes, especially when there's like electrical transformers or boxes around. And so they end up taking 4 trees out for me at Centennial because they were near like electrical boxes and stuff.
Awesome.
It's one of those, they drop them and we get rid of them still. They didn't have to, but,
Appreciation for that.
other than that though, just moving along.
Any other questions for Frank?
So just so I get my pickleball people happy,
One more week. He's got another tournament this weekend.
this weekend.
Yeah, and
Okay.
so after the first, they're going up.
How many more pickleball courts you want?
Well, 4 is enough, I think. but-
4 is enough.
But, it was fairly popular last couple of summers, and so I'm just kind of wondering with the interruption here with the tennis tournaments, it's kind of,
Yeah,
And with
part of
well,
it was my
electricity.
bad. I could have put them up sooner, and for some reason I was thinking the tournament was quicker. And there was a few weeks there they could have been up, and
You can play on that.
you can, we can crank the nets down and make them kind of our level, but I don't think that's what you really want us doing.
Yeah.
But,
since we done on those 2, we haven't. That was a chore. So we haven't done the other 2, but it did stop where they were cranking them down and bending the poles in.
Good Lord.
Yeah, that was, had to saw that out, and then, of course, you got this much asphalt on the course, then it's the old concrete.
Oh, good
They had
Lord.
to hammer that out, 2 by 2 square. That turned into a chore, doing that, but we got, 2 courts done, that did fix it.
Well, I'll tell my people.
Yeah.
We'll be
And I
patient.
will make sure it is advertised big time when we got the electric and the lights on.
Yeah.
So,
Frank, just one last thing is, I've actually had a couple of phone calls on an old problem that we've never been able to solve, and I don't think we've got a solution now. But I'll just mention it to you, and that is theft of flowers and things at the cemetery. And you haven't been sitting on any real clever idea, have you, on how we can,
no, 'cause you don't know, you go back and look at some of these windstorms we've had.
yeah,
Wind could have blew them off. Now, my guys, when they do a walk around, if it's blown off, yes, it's trash to them. But we don't take anything off the stone, but yeah, to actually, until you see someone physically, and even when you see them take something off, you
You don't
can't go up
know.
and question them, because next thing you know, they're gonna sue you for,
yeah, it may be theirs. You
yeah.
don't know.
So,
Well, I know there's no, if anybody ever comes up with an answer though, because this is something that,
It's been forever.
for people that, these are gravesites that they have strong feelings about, a lot of them, and,
they do gotta keep in mind though, with all the weather and wind we've had, like some of these windstorms we've had, the guys usually go around and they usually have a lot of
That wind gets
pick
pretty
trash up
pressure.
after a big windstorm.
well, now, are there
After Memorial
any,
Day is the big one when we think, people.
are there any rules that we have currently about what you can do to a headstone if you were trying to lock those down? as far
Yeah.
as somebody,
I came to y'all a few years ago, we made some rules.
I'd have to, that's a good one.
Why
I
don't-
don't remember what all it was. We
why
did.
don't I
Big
just
thing-
get with you and get a copy of those?
The
We
big
don't-
thing was the shepherd hooks.
Mhm.
You can still put them up, but we want the hook face, like this is the headstone, so the hook needs to go over the headstone, not out or back. 'Cause,
Yeah.
it does, but then we, take it up. So we actually, if you do a double, and say this, then we actually ask you put it right behind the headstone. We don't touch a thing off the headstone or the little
Yeah.
concrete, toys, little fixtures, we don't touch that stuff. The rules came about, basically all I asked was people get with us. If you remember, there was a certain family, and since then, man, works great. Every birthday, holiday, they'll actually contact me. Now, you care if we do all, and if I know about it, and then a few days later, they pick it all up. They do it just for occasions, and so that's works great.
Okay, well, that's helpful.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Okay.
See you, boss.
Thank you, Frank.
All right, golf course report. We got several action items. One of them we're gonna talk about quickly. I'll have the mayor come up, and Chris, you gonna come up? So, I'll have the mayor chime in as it goes. So, the pumps out at the golf course have been an ongoing deal for a little while. And we're at a situation now where the golf course is struggling to keep the greens alive. We're water manually now. So somebody's going out with a golf cart, with the cart hoses and watering. That's the only way we can water because the system's down. So there's 2 or 3 things that combine in to keeping water on the course. And I don't know if they got the tank, did they get it finally repaired to where it'll hold water? Do we know?
The tank? No, it's not repaired.
So we're still working on it.
That's gonna be a while down the road.
So that was one of the things that Dennis was working on, was trying to get that tank, you know where that tank is out there? Have you ever saw it? It's right down there by the river
Yeah,
where the pumps
okay.
are.
I've seen.
Oh, okay.
It's massive, and so they've been trying, you can walk in the thing, it's so big. It's as big as this room or bigger.
Is that what Dawson has been working on?
Yeah,
Yep.
I don't know
It's-
size, but it's
It's pretty
every bit of
hefty.
It's every bit as
Yeah.
big around as this room.
probably as deep.
So it'll hold quite a bit of water, and the thought was that we would pump from the river into that tank and then
From the
tank
Yeah.
up. We're not, so.
Does it take,
We're just doing directly.
what's
from
keeping
the
that
river.
from happening? Is it a
It's-
quick answer?
Well, yeah, it's old, it's cracked, it's concrete, and it's right on the river.
Oh, okay.
All
So it's
the
got
above.
it's got a crack in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like Dawson and those guys, they've been out there trying to seal it up. It's gonna take a lot more than that.
Yeah, I do. The thought was to repair it, use it, that was kind of the theory behind it, but now we're just using pumps to pump water. I don't know if y'all been out there lately, but this heat is killer on those greens.
Oh, yeah.
Seal it.
And it's important to make sure we keep water to it. Back years ago, in fact, I can remember Staben, whenever we was doing repairing the pumps or something, you was asking, how are we gonna get water if the pumps don't work? You asked if they was gonna take them by 5 gallon pails out there to water, and they said, well, whatever it takes, that's what we gotta do. So there was a lot of discussion about how to keep water on there for the time being. So a business that Chris and I and another gentleman are partners in had a solution, so we went out there and talked to Dennis, and Dennis is no longer here. Now the situation is really showing about what needs to happen. So I'll let Chris and the mayor kind of take it from here.
So real quick before you jump in, so here's kind of the deal is, right now, there's somebody, I don't really know who, Mike's been floating for me from the rec center to the course, because I can't be there all day, and he's done a tremendous job, so he would also be a good source for asking
Before
questions.
you start, how's your wife?
Better, much better, thank you. Yeah, she's recovering.
Good.
Yes, Mike has been doing a great job, and we owe him a lot of gratitude. Before the Bowmans left, we were aware, before all this, we knew that there was problems with the primary pump on the river. We know that. We also know that we've got a company in town that has possession of a 60-horse pump and a 5-horse pump that are ours. Those are good to go, but the pump itself isn't the problem, it's the electronics in the system. So first it wasn't pressuring up. When we say this system, we're talking, I mean, it's a panel bigger than that TV. It opens, there's gadgets and gizmos, and, you know, this light lights up green and pressure switches, and it's there, it's pretty high, but it wasn't pressuring up. And then when it would come on, it wouldn't show that the power was on the knobs turn green when it's on. They wouldn't come on, but everything else was powered up. So we tried to get that figured out. Then we found that there was a dummy switch that you could use a key, and it would basically do an override, but then it's 100% manual from there. And you can easily flood, you can easily overwater, and I said, we're not doing that. Chris and the crew out there that have done a fabulous job, and let me be perfectly clear, there are some spots in this, that we're getting in this heat dome that's going right now, where we see some shallow burns, but nothing to the core yet. And as long as we can keep it watering, we'll be okay. Those will, you know, the next mowing, those will be gone. And that's gonna happen anywhere. Every course right now is dealing with those shallow burns. But they've been using city water, which doesn't give you pressure, or they've gotta do, you know, go around from green to green, and, you know, and it's been very exhausting, very time consuming. They're doing a great job. Chris, you know, just got back from some really intense health issues. And so we're trying to make sure that he's careful of the heat. But he's working, he comes in early, he'll work from like 5 to 9 or whatever, 5 to 10, whenever he remembers he's got to stop. And then he goes home and he comes back at 5:30 and works from 5:30 to 6 or 7. So he can get those, you know, it's all about the timing on that watering. We brought on today, as a city employee as well, we brought in Philip Newell. Philip Newell replaced Russell. Russell stepped out last week, resigned, needed to take care of some family stuff. So we plugged Philip in. Philip comes with a large background of course managements and green managements and mechanics and electrical and all of that. So he's great. We let Mike and Chris out there, sat with him, we all talked. He's gonna be an amazing addition, and he starts Wednesday morning. He's got a doctor's appointment tomorrow, and then he'll start. He onboarded today. The rest of the crew is doing a great job trying to keep things going. But today they were out chasing a short. They've got a short somewhere in this massive course that they've got to find. And they don't know where it is because it's not letting them communicate with the Waterbird system. Isn't that what it was called?
I thought it was Rainbird, it's Hunter.
Hunter, whatever it is, they can't use it. And that's the system on the computer that basically sets up the timing for that irrigation. And because of that, they've got to keep doing this manual watering. So we've got to figure it out. So you can talk about what you.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Are you watering with water from the river or from the city?
They were doing the city. Problem is they don't want to do too much because there is some chlorine in it. But the stuff from they can get the water up now, right, Mike? They can get the water from the river to the course, but the timing system isn't working.
So they can get the water from the river to the green, but they have to hand water it.
Right, so I don't know if you guys know, at every green, there's an actual valve, and they're having to plug into each one of those valves. Chris stands out there and waters, you know, barefoot and everything, and so he can feel the temperature and the heat and things of the grass and the water content. But it's wearing them all out. They're doing it, and they're doing a fabulous job. They are keeping it alive.
So we're off of city water right now.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
what, a couple days we had to do that, the city. But yeah, we're off of that now.
Okay. And now it's just a matter of the logistics of, it sounds like we're in a triage kind of situation where they need water. We got a heat dome, it's the middle of July, and it's just a matter of how many bodies we can get out there to water the greens. Is
Unless
that
we can
correct?
figure out a way, a solution to get this water.
Well, I'm thinking, yeah, I mean, that's the permanent solution, But in the meantime, to save the greens, we need to be keeping water on them.
You know
But-
how many of those carts we have that have the system on it to go out and do it manually? I think there's two, there or one. Is there one or two? That's it.
And there's a
Greens,
lot
it's
of
all about
acreage
timing.
cover.
You ain't
It's
kidding.
important. And they're doing a great job. Don't get
I
any.
mean, they are doing a good job.
Who's making the decision on the watering, the timing and
So we also brought on Cartwright Weaver. I don't know if you guys know Cartwright.
stuff?
Do you do? Cartwright?
I know who he is, I don't know him.
He's worked for the Conservation District, Maize County Conservation District. He's worked for other golf courses in the past. He is, listen, if one name came across my desk 1,000 times, it was Cartwright. So Mike and I pulled Cartwright aside and said, you want to work for us? Yeah, I'll help. Nope, you're not going to help. You're going to get paid. So he went on with Express. He comes in the mornings, does a little bit there. Chris is doing it. We've got Jamie. Jamie's been out there for 11 years. He's been working for Express, and I said, that's nonsense. He's now a city employee as well. We've got Mike McGuire, who's out there. We've got Peyton, who's a younger kid. He does a little bit of the mowing and weed eating. And then Kobe, who has been the cart washer and fueler, caught us up and he says, hey, listen, I want to go be on the greens. I want to go work. I want to mow. So we're going to look at transferring him over to work under Chris. But I'm going to tell you, every time the Bowmans were on vacation or they were gone or they were doing, Chris and his crew were calling the shots. Chris and their crew were spraying, doing, they're maintaining, and they've done a heck of a good job. But little things, like found out today, and I don't want to get too far off, I'm sorry. Today, I woke up 7 o'clock this morning and they said, we need a push mower. What do you mean we need a push mower? Well, we don't have one anymore. So when we're done here, I'm gonna go down to Walmart, I'm gonna buy them a push mower. It's those kind of things. We got the green, or the bunker rake is ordered, that'll be delivered next week. But it's just finding these things that make their job all the better. And, you know, one of the things that came up was a hover mower, you know, that they strap on and they can, you know, do. I don't know what that costs. We'll look into it. And if it can affordably be done, you know, here's what we're finding. And again, I won't go backwards. I won't talk ill. I won't say anything negative. We're going to talk facts, cold, right? We got a lot of money sitting in that account out there because not Bubkiss was spent on capital. And so if we can take that money that's out there and responsibly use it to get the things that will make that course the next level, that'll make that course stay alive and stay functional, we'd be stupid to not do it right now. For example, the pro shop, there's a horrible rodent problem. It's not well insulated. It's ugly. The soffits and the fascia are rotten. You can literally, you've seen it, Keith, Mike, you can reach up and just grab a handful of soffit and take it home with you. It's bad. So I've got a guy that's going to come out. We're going to put a vinyl siding on that. He's going to put a board of insulation behind it, vinyl siding. It's going to cost us about $22,000. But under the carte blanche that the council has given me to do the things that are mandatory to get that up and going, we've got to do it. We've got to get that building insulated. We've had air conditioning company out there several times. They get things going and it doesn't help. There's just no insulation. It's capital expense, but as the city has taken that on, we know, just like anything else, you've got to invest capital funds into it. The thing that I want to make sure we're very clear about, and even in this project, is the money that's on that golf course is staying at that golf course. It's going to go back into that golf course some way or another. We talked about, and I don't know if I'm jumping the gun, I want to take $250,000 of that money that we have sitting. I want to give it to Lori Ballou to invest, CDs, some kind of high interest, high yield, whatever, for long-term capital projects. We do that with the fire department. We take their fire funds that come from the county, from the ad valorums, $150,000 a pop. We put it away, we invest it, and then when the funds are finally there, that's what we buy a fire truck with. And those are about $900,000 to $1 million a piece. For what we'd love to have would be over $1 million. That's a ladder truck. But the point is, we're taking money that's just sitting there now doing nothing, and we're going to invest it and let it accrue some interest and make some more money for itself. And when we get to those projects like, the new shop or the bathrooms or whatever, we'll have all that much more to work with. And that I think is loud and clear to the golfing community. This isn't going to me or to the rec center or to City Hall. That money is for the golf course. But I think the best thing to do is let's get the capital that we need now, the push mower that I gotta go today to buy, the air conditioner and the refrigerator that were needed for the maintenance shed because they had none. I don't even know how we can do that. Have guys work in a maintenance barn and not have an air conditioner for them. We bought it, we put it in, it's there. Those are the things we have to do. So we get those things done, we're careful with what we're spending. We've had Premier come today to work on the rebrand, to kind of figure out what signage is more important than others. We're not doing it all in one swoop. That'd be stupid. But the things that we have to do is we have to remove, we have a separation contract with A&B Course Management. Part of that is we need to remove them and their brand. So any, like I'm getting way off, you're just patient, I'm sorry. Like the scorecards, all of those still say, Dennis Bowman on the back, they say A&B Pro Shop. We're gonna have to look at that. We have to get new cards, we have to do those things. Is it like we're gonna die and shrivel up if we don't do it tomorrow? No. But Mike is helping me look at that. We're kind of figuring out those logistics, that word we've talked a lot about tonight, those logistical things, the electrical, the cash register, the computers. The computers are, what are they running on? What did Mark say? Windows 7?
Yeah, it's a good system. I was out there,
That's a
yeah.
security risk.
I'm surprised it's even still running.
I got a call the other day, I got a call yesterday. Let me just tell you, this is so much fun. From Falco Securities. Now, mind you, this is our alarm company. I've called them 3 times in the last week to try to get things set up, and I got no call back. Or you get their call line, and they're like, yeah, we can't help you. That has to be the front office. They have to set you up. So Sunday morning, was that Sunday or was it Saturday morning? I think that was Saturday morning, 6:30, my phone rings. My phone at 6:30. I was like, ooh, I didn't miss these phone calls. You missed those?
Oh, absolutely not.
The alarm company calling you first thing in the morning to tell you you got an alarm going off, an intruder alarm. I said, yeah, what do we got? She said, well, you got an intruder alarm at the golf course, and it looks like it might be Kaylee trying to get in, but we need to know what to do. So let her in. Turn off the darn alarm. I was not as polite. Turn off the darn alarm. And she said, well, I can't take your authorization because you don't have a code. Then how in the heck did you get my number? Well, I'm not really sure, but you're the number that comes up in there. It was fine. But if you're gonna call me and ask me to authorize, let me turn it off. Well, I didn't because I didn't. So I called Kaylee back. Finally, we get Boomer to call in and get his code to find out that most of those employees have been using Donna and Dennis's security code to log in and turn off the alarm because there were, quote, too many names in the system. Now, you know, Keith, that means we've never deleted. I don't know what it means, but that's nonsense.
True.
Just for the record, I have not gotten a call back, and that was marked urgent, and I'm told I'd be called back in about 2 hours, and that never still hasn't happened. So my thing is, those are the kind of business deals we're gonna step away from Falco. We're gonna probably get the same company that's doing our other buildings and get something that's more,
I was gonna ask that, can we switch to a different company?
Yeah.
Are we tied into that contract?
no, we are not. And so in that separation agreement, it clearly states that we are free and clear of anything that was signed for by A&B Course Management Systems or Dennis Bowman unless it had specific city ties to it, you know.
And we have a local company that we could,
We have a lot of companies, and we've talked to that company. We've got registers that need to be updated. They're running that Windows 7, and it's awful. So we've got to get some of that capital updated so that the kids can operate those systems. I don't know, maybe you guys know what a GIN number is? You know what that is? Found out today, those have all been deleted, so we got to find out how to get that up and going again. I had 2 golfers this morning that wanted to know how to get that up and going, and that it was there sometime, and now it's gone. So those kind of things, we're going to continue, Mike and I are going to continue to plow through. Right now, this here is, we need to have eyes on that hydration, or that irrigation system. We need to have eyes and know what it's pumping, when it's out, where it's out, what the faults are. That's our pride and joy, is that bent Bermuda. And you know, when you're that tall, it doesn't take long to kill it.
So that, Chris, they did find the short. It was in the wire in the creek.
Across the creek.
Going through the creek in number two. Evidently the wire was laying not in conduit in the creek bottom, so tomorrow they'll come in and put conduit in and do it.
That's what
Lay it
Jamie-
in the creek.
That's what Jamie thought, that he said it's probably down there where it's just a conglomerate of wires laying in the creek bed. So,
On number 2,
Yeah, I think, yeah.
So does that mean then that if they get the short fixed, that all the irrigation equipment will start working?
I think so. I just asked Chris to confirm.
we'll knock on wood and say we sure as heck hope so.
Okay,
They
because,
can order multiple holes at a time, or water multiple holes.
yeah, okay.
And
So
it
that
was-
sounds like, that's obviously the long-term
Yeah.
preferred solution. But if it doesn't work, then it looks like we are in a position where we've got to, Chris, you've got to have enough people to do the, are you the one making decisions then?
No, this is this is.
Different Chris.
There's another Chris
No.
at the course.
Oh, are you the Chris I
Yeah.
talked to this afternoon? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Then the other Chris is the one, is it he or the,
They've got a meter that they go out and they probe each green for hydration and how much heat and temperature, I mean, everything, and that's how he's determining. I mean, they're metering it every hour.
so it's not Cartwright? He's not doing it.
Cartwright is on that crew.
Yeah, there's
That's
There's several of them monitoring the greens and making decisions. Okay.
quite an
And we've got a triage solution in place that we can water the greens. That's where I'm really getting to, because that is
Manually.
our most valuable, if we lose those,
I
It's-
would really encourage all of you, if you haven't, go out about 6:30 at night. Just go and get a cart and take a lap. Do it in order and just
We got a hog problem between 5 and,
Yes.
5 and 6.
yep,
Yes.
bad.
Yes, and they're casting about, we got a guy named Scott who's been doing that, and he's been going out pretty often. And we're just gonna let him keep doing that. We need to buy him some sweet feed, but he's got traps. Don't go look for those traps. You will come out with so many ticks, it's stupid. But they're out there. We went out that Wednesday, that we took over the course, and there was a big 200-pound boar in their trap. So they're out there, and they're in full force.
So we're not shooting them also, we're just trapping them?
No, we are exterminating them.
Okay, well, I just
Chief
wondered,
Cantrell is aware, game wardens are aware,
okay.
they're being exterminated and the meat is being harvested. Yeah.
It's actually good eating, it really is.
No,
No,
for fish it is.
No, if it's a,
Gaming.
well, that's the males. You don't want the males, you want the female.
all right,
I'll
Chris,
let Chris go.
here we go.
Chris Ashley with C5 Industrial Automation. So, like Keith had discussed, we spoke with Dennis Bowman earlier in the year. He was having quite a few issues with his pump panel that's down by the river, where the submersibles are going to be that we're pulling up from. I believe they're submersibles. And kind of even showed us the reservoir, kind of doing some forward thinking here. So, what he has been stuck with that he had let us know is that panel has to mainly be ran in manual. Maybe there's been some stuff fixed since, I don't know, but the automation side of it was no longer functioning. So everything's running 100% instead of being able to actually control the pumps start up and slow down with variable frequency drives. They're running full blown all the time. So on any equipment, that's really hard on the equipment. We're shortening the lifespan anytime we're running it in such a way. So we had presented him with a quote to utilize the existing drives, the existing panel, but removing all the other existing hardware, putting in a new PLC, which is the brains for it, programmable logic controller, as well as a new touchscreen on the outside of that. That would be web-based, using a high security protocol SCADA system, but a very slim version of it. And then we would have a cellular modem that we would talk back to a main unit in the Pro Shop. Yep. And from there, or even from a phone, as we set up users, or as you guys set up users, they would be able to have full controls of that system, see what it's doing in real time, as well as build in some fault logic that if this happens, these people are notified. And so instead of being reactive to issues, you can be proactive. So instead of waters needing to turn on at 6:30 at night, but somewhere during the day we had our panel trip off, well, they didn't know. They assumed stuff was going to get watered, and now they're scrambling at 7 to try to figure out why it's not, looking at valves and all these different things. Well, if they would have had a way to know, it would have notified them that, hey, at 12 o'clock when the breaker tripped off, we would have known that it was down and that they weren't going to have any water until that was remedied. So I'm just trying to give more overview to the people that are there. Kind of touched on with some of the other ones that we talked to today about how, when you have somebody who's been in one position for such a long time, they're going to know all the little ins and outs, and sometimes those don't always get passed on, especially in a quick transition. So the more oversight we can give, we should be able to mitigate future issues, hopefully.
Is this gonna take care of what Dawson's been out there trying to fix, or is this a totally separate issue?
So they work together, but it's not the issue that's been going on today. It's what feeds those systems with water. It's the first part of it. So the thought process, even then when we talk to Dennis, is start here and then work more towards the course to bring it more up to date to today's standards and give it some of today's functionality that's on a lot of courses across the nation and even Oklahoma, where those sensors that he's talking about that they're using to know when to water, there's equipment out there now that is at a lot of courses. So if the water retention is good enough, they know that it doesn't need watered again, and that way we're not overwatering greens or tee boxes at certain times.
Yeah, he was talking about SCADA, Supervisor Control and Data Acquisition Systems. That's what they manage pipelines flow with. And it gives you the ability to manage the flow of water, of any liquid, of gas.
Anything.
Name it, but primarily liquid, through pipelines and stuff, so you can tell where it's being dispersed, coming out of the pipeline, or whatever the conduit is.
Give a display and you can see real time what's occurring. So that's
It would
way
be a
down the
step
line, but
above.
if we started doing things like that, we're gonna do stuff like put a dashboard in the pro shop, put a dashboard out in the maintenance area that shows them the schedule for watering, where your moisture content is. We're gonna display as much information as they can take in at once. And with that, you would very quickly see when you have an issue, because we're gonna bring it to the front, right? Along with those notifications that we can send out by text or email preferred on that, because text, you've got to go through a lot of loopholes to get away from looking like your spam. But
So how long of a process is this to get started and get done?
so as long as we're talking about the first little bunch of just the pump panel, I don't have the quote in front of me. I think it was like a 4 to 6 week lead time. And I could probably work on some of that to get it a little bit sooner. Some of that goes upon just availability of materials and then payment
Yeah,
plans.
if you've never been out there and looked at the panel, it is,
Well, it sounds antiquated.
well, it is. I mean, it's just part of it though. I mean,
This is taking that road off of Green 6 and heading south towards the river, okay.
to the river. And it sits way up on a stand in the air.
Has to. The reason they have it up there is to try to avoid for when that river floods. Try to.
Okay.
It's a nice track.
Well,
We walked it.
let me get,
It's a nice walk, actually, though.
I think probably the most significant thing to me about this is a step towards a level of automation
Sure.
that
Yeah.
Yeah.
that we've talked about, that we don't have and haven't had. And there's benefits to it. It costs money. There's benefits to it. We don't know how much it's gonna cost yet, but that's what they would do is, but it should reduce the amount of manual labor required.
To do the job.
That's the value proposition. It reduces the expense of labor,
Yeah. Well, I mean,
go out there, but it's a step, it's more sophisticated.
it's a step into the future. It's a step
Yep.
into making sure that that course stays there for the length of time. Because another thing I haven't touched on, but if we have enough data available, we can look and see what some courses do with their water retention and how much they're putting on. But we can also use science with the right tools and measurements. We can have a perfect outlook of a schedule of what and when water needs to go on each green, each tee box. So if you can compute all that down to just numbers, it eliminates the need for that greensman to be there all the time. So now you're looking at paying a completely different pay of salary of what you need to have here all the time to keep the course up.
But we're not getting rid of anybody.
I'm not saying you need to do that, I'm just saying as far as a whole, if at one point you was having to pay upwards of almost 200 or whatever the number is to keep somebody happy, to keep them there, because you're stuck with them as far as they're the one who knows everything. Now we're getting to a point where the brains is in a computer, it's backed up, it's here. We don't have to worry if someone's going to leave and move off or pass away or any of it. It's there, it's self-contained. It takes care of itself.
That you'll have on a, like, if there's something that happens at night and there's nobody there, will whoever have access to that, could it be on their phone or their home computer to where they get notified?
It will send a notification, and the way, so we've got this same system set up in water districts, in different plants, industrial-wise, whether it's plastics, blends. But what it is, so within that system, we can give logins and users. And so we'll give that access to you guys. You put the users in, you put what access they have, and we can work in conjunction to teach people how to use this. And even if we need to be the administrator and keep it over, we can do that as well. But that's not just, the usual intention is you own it. And we'll build it, you own all the programming, all the aspects of it.
There's
There's a lot of user defining there.
Kind of, Roy, to your question, they call it IoT, the Internet of Things, but it allows you, at the end of these networks, to put different types of devices. You can put probes, you can measure soil temperature, all these, you can measure the heat, all kinds of devices that they have that are available that you wouldn't have to go out there, and you get to monitor it and look at it
Real
on
time.
a screen, and it'll set alarms and tell you, hey, it's out of tolerance. It's got a range that it checks. So when they get out of tolerance, you get an alarm, and somebody says, okay, now I need to go out there and figure out what's going on. But it is automation, and the one thing that it does, we've talked about this a little bit, we have access to it, but now this puts us in an environment where you have to think about security. And if we can get to it, there's all kinds of things you can do, the passwords and IDs and all that. But we've now got to think about security. And so we can farm that out, but something that you said, Mayor, about, we're still on Windows 7. Do we have a system administrator in the city?
So, yeah, we use FIT right now, so.
Use,
FIT, Fiber Interactive Technology.
okay,
So-
is that Chris?
Chris, yeah,
Okay,
Chris and Bart.
yeah, Chris and Bart.
okay.
So, and we've got some conversations started with Bart. I'm gonna meet with him again tomorrow and talk about some things. One of the things we talked about a little bit was even, as these greens guys are out doing their watering and their probing, we could put a little iPad or something on their cart, and they could input that data, and that would give us that real-time log of when was it watered. It's accountability too, but it also then let us take down the road the analytics of that and say, okay, here's what we've got to do.
And take pictures, because that is something we brought up, is we'd put iPads out there, and there's mounts that we've put on forklifts, we can do the same thing on a golf court. So as they're driving around, they see an issue, maybe even with something. We're gonna take a picture of it, we're gonna log it, and now we have a historical data point to go back and look if something later happens down the road that's similar. What was our best practical fix for this? And so we can go back and see that, okay, well, they had to take these steps, and this is what it ended up being, and you have a history, a data log to truly go back and look, because we have historians that we run in these, and we've got one that has been in place for like 8 years, and it's never been broken. You can go back 8 years and see all this historical data of all the thousands upon 10,000s of blends that they've done, and see that real time. See the time it happened, all these different timestamps of valves opening and closing, and it's,
So when you think of, Chris was talking about this, one of the benefits is, this is just the pumps. So there's actually 7 stands out there that controls the entire golf course. Each one has so many greens that it talks to. Anybody have any idea when that was put in, Chris?
Don't have a clue.
I would have to say going back to the eighties, maybe nineties.
I have no idea how old it is. It's old.
no, inside
This is the
the
level of
office.
technology that we've come into down at the golf course.
Oh, my goodness.
That's in the office.
Seems like something I wired years ago.
You saw that.
Yeah.
This is the
Wow.
system that connects the
Oh.
water system to the router, to the PC, to the phone, to the, I don't know, modems.
I don't know how I missed that when I was out there.
So Mark came out today and cleaned some of that up. But we've got to, I mean, we can't operate a successful anything with that.
My
that kind of-
The actual systems for the sprinklers are so old. I mean, they're old, and technology-wise,
I've done a lot of work for golf courses. I used to work for Evans Enterprises when I was a control technician for them, and I took care of all of the Tulsa area courses. It's a little bit higher end on some of them, but you know, they talked about those, and this has been 10 years ago-ish, 8 years ago, somewhere in there. But they talked back then, they had just switched to newer systems than what these are. And how those at one point were really good, but just how antiquated they were. And like I said, that's 10 years ago that they were getting rid of that same style of system. Just to see how dated the current equipment is. So,
it's scary to see what's out there. But there are solutions. And one thing going and updating the pumps, when we look at it, this system also, you can start adding more features as it goes. And it can all be controlled and seen at one place.
Well, and
That's the big part.
yeah, and I just throw this out because we talked about this a little bit this afternoon. When we start down a path like this, you have to, when you're using software, you have to maintain your software. You've got to, usually there's maintenance fees associated with it.
there is maintenance fees. I don't recall off the top of my head what they are. So the way these work is you can do their yearly maintenance fee, and it's like 10 or 20% of the software costs per year. And if you stay within that, you're always eligible for upgrade. You don't have to pay any extra for upgrade. If you don't go into that system, I think it's at the 5-year mark that it starts to go in that you don't get the automatic updates anymore. And anytime after that, if they went to a whole next level, like if they move from an 8 to a 9 instead of a decimal point after that, then I think it's 50 or 60% of the original cost.
And if.
Either way, from the timelines that they normally do their updates, it's a wash.
But there is that zone in there that if you choose not to do the update, you've still got the old technology. It's those dreaded two words, you go unsupported. They do not guarantee,
So they always support theirs.
they'll always,
They all,
these vendors will always support their software regardless of how old it is.
they always support theirs.
And they ensure interoperability of that software from,
What normally
I'd
happens.
like to see that. I'm going to make sure
It's-
they get that right.
It's happened multiple times on us, actually, and one of them was with the place I've talked about quite a bit, and they've changed names, they're AU Solutions now. But the only reason we've actually done an update with theirs was because they went from Windows 10 to Windows 11, and because they wanted to go to Windows 11, the SCADA system didn't support that, so.
Yeah.
In order to be able to go to Windows 11, we had to do that next upgrade, and that was the only reason we did, and they did. But it was more for their backside on the Windows side, for being within security protocol, because of how high level their insurance is asking them to cover and whatnot.
Well, I think
there's
it's
there's a lot of
significant.
chemicals and things over there that are all in one place, so they've got to be very robust.
I think the significance, and I know you guys were talking about a proposal, but the significance is when you go down this path, you get a lot of benefits, but there's some responsibilities that come along with it.
Yeah.
And that is what we just talked about. You have to pay maintenance fees. You've got to stay on the upgrade path. If you want them to ensure that their software will work with everything that's already on there, the older stuff. And the city, as a city, we just want to understand,
What,
because this is, the total cost of ownership is not just the purchase price, it's a purchase price plus the annual maintenance every year.
Yep.
Yeah,
well, and that would kind of go into any of the
sure.
In any
It
of the
will.
systems nowadays are that same way, Rainbirds, Hunters, all of them, they have usage fees now, I think is how they refer to it of some sort, that you have to pay for just so you can use their app, and the app's what controls everything. But,
This would all be the city, so
city will own it.
city owns it. There is no,
That's what I was saying, if you don't want to do their maintenance contract every year to upkeep that, that's fine. And ride with it until you're forced to from Windows.
Do you know about upgrades with these ones that you guys are familiar with? There's how often they upgrade, and you have to install the upgrades?
Sorry, are you talking about the?
As they make enhancements to,
So they
Software.
try to release a new
okay,
decimal point every quarter.
okay.
Sometimes it's a little sooner, sometimes it's a little later. When we have to do one of those updates, which like I said, we have those till either year 4 or 5 free without any extra. It's a 5 to 30 minute ordeal at the most, depending upon the size of the download. And only to initialize the download is the only downtime we would have. So about 30 seconds that the system would be inoperable, and then it's right back in a running state.
Is this a software as a service type solution that this is running on they're hosting the software, or is it on our equipment?
There's options for them to host the software. We won't set any of those up like that, preferably unless you guys just pushed it. We'll have a localized server that will be housed at the golf course.
So this then talks about we need to be prepared to have somebody here that can do updates.
We could do the updates, you
You-
wouldn't have to do it.
That's something that we can, I realize you guys can provide that as a.
Or-
We just need to-
Or
People need to understand.
Or even, the other thing I've said is any integrator that has ignition training specifically can go and do the same thing we would be doing.
so it's not locked to,
We could
Yeah.
also
not
teach
locked.
someone how to do it, but they need to be at least somewhat overly computer savvy, so they don't break anything. But we've looked with and talked to MUB about putting this same system in for them.
Oh, okay.
So they'd be utilizing the same, and I believe Ryan Stout could take control of that if needed, as far as to push updates and keep up with it. As long as, I don't want to speak for him, but he seems that he would be qualified to do so. He has an understanding of the equipment enough.
Everything, I'm wearing two hats, but everything in anything that we would do, you can get within same day or the next day at the very worst.
Next day or worst off.
Which, if we go to Hunter or Rainbird like we got now, we're at the mercy whenever, if they even make it anymore. And, you know, how soon can somebody come out and fix it? Because it's, I don't know if y'all, there's switches. Each switch tells something else to do, and so.
You can do manual, auto, or schedule for in the.
That's the
ones we're
current
talking about.
system now. It would all be,
We'll still build in if we was to do that, we would still build in manual operations to where we just, when you put it in that, it's going to run a cycle that we can predetermine and load, because each one will be its own standalone unit in that case, to where if you had issues like what happened today, kind of like I spoke to, we can either do a solar backup or we can do a battery pack that would have to be wheeled around to each one. Some type of secondary power, so you're not subject to only needing source power, to where it would still be operable.
well,
This kind of instance.
now, Mike, it was between, which one is between 1 and 2, or I mean 2 and,
Yeah, that short, yeah.
so the entire system was down because the only way they could check it was take everything down and check each one. 7 of those spread throughout that golf course.
And they spent all afternoon trying to trace it.
And this could have been instant if we'd had the system like. you
Every
had.
one would be a standalone, so there would be alert come, hey, number, 5 out there is a standalone system. It's telling this is where the problem's at. The other ones would still run, so there would never be an issue. It would only be having to have somebody water at the greens that one box takes care of.
Every so often it goes out and pings these devices, and it lets you know if it's conscious and awake and communicating. And there's, like I said, this is a whole different, this is taking this course down an automated path that we just,
It could set you up to be something that could be modeled after.
It's bringing us into the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we even talked today about putting a camera system out on hole 18, like this. So take a video of your last round from 18, and 15 minutes later, be up at the clubhouse, getting a beverage and eating and watching yourself on the television finish hole 18.
That's like the roller coasters, man.
Exactly right. Yeah, exactly right.
One thing I got a question on is, now I understand all the systems we have out there, they're dinosaurs, I get it, I understand. Now we're at where we're at.
Yeah.
We have to make a move. But I'm hearing all these wonderful things you're describing, but I'm gonna ask the question I haven't heard yet. What's all this kind of stuff cost? Technology's expensive.
Technology is expensive. I don't know, because we just started talking about it today, so I'd have to get some actual numbers and see.
I'm gonna play the devil's advocate here. You said you've worked with other golf courses and things like that, okay? And they've got similar systems that you're describing. Just, I'm not gonna hold you to anything, we're just talking about this. What were they looking at financially? I'm curious as to what they were looking at.
The money they had to spend versus you is far different when we're talking about
Oh, I
Patriot
get
and
that,
Jinx and all of those.
I get that, but
Um,
I'm just from,
So this was 2016. I saw some financials of what Rainbird was charging for their new irrigation system.
and it was just the modules, like what we're talking about today, and it was $628,000. I don't remember how many of them that was, but it was for an 18-hole course.
We'd still have 75 left, 1,000.
Yeah.
Depends on-
Now, am I talking about that? No, like, I'm talking about, we're looking at, this is super rough estimate numbers that we was throwing together today, and we said if we could do the pump panel and this together, it should come in like 286, 290, rough estimate. But if we was doing them both and they want to do them at the same time, let's do it for like 260. And that's a ballpark number. Like I said,
Right,
we've gotta
and I'm
put
not
some
gonna,
real
like I said, I'm not
actual
gonna hold you to it.
pencil to
You-
paper, but at the same time, with the way that we're presenting it, it doesn't all have to be done at once.
Right, I
If you
understand.
wanna buy the
you can
software
do
at
it over-
first, buy the
period of
software at
time.
first. Now we gotta build our main panel that would have the server and everything back at the pro shop.
This sounds like something we should have been doing now over a period of time, which has
Sure.
not
But,
come
but
full circle. So obviously, this is the predicament we're in.
the way we would break it down is similar to that, to where you could kinda look at, okay, we're gonna do this much, cause we got 80,000 to spend.
I mean, I
We got
know we have to
40,000
do-
to spend, so we're gonna try to target 2 of them, or whatever it is.
I understand we have to do what's vital for the course now to keep it alive and keep the greens alive and that. I mean, without the grass, you don't have a golf course, let's face it.
Everything we're looking at, though, could be built on. It's nothing that's gonna be constrained even to just what it is. It's gonna be able to be added to.
Well, I'm also doing it because the public sees this too. I want them to understand, they're gonna hear all the bells and whistles and all the wonderful things you're proposing. And a lot of people will say, man, that's great, we're going into the future, and hey, I'm in awe about it too. I mean, that's pretty impressive stuff. But at the end of the day, it's what you can afford to pay and what you can, you know, you project your earnings and you hope you meet those goals, but
Yeah.
80% of the time, does that happen? No.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So-
you have to figure how you're gonna make this stuff, and you may not be able to make it happen.
With some of this, some of it is I have to know what your numbers are, right? But we can put together risk assessments and risk analysis that we can project off of to show payback in a way, or at least show mitigation of man hours and things like that, where you're gonna start over time having a cost savings of.
Okay.
Somewhat within that, along with, you can start looking at, you have better securities, because we're not having to rely on manpower that might not show up that day to water if we have some type of other downed event, versus you have a system that would have warned you ahead of time and it's gonna automatically run through its steps.
Ideally, these have business cases that you have to assess and evaluate. And the easiest business case are those where what you spend, you can actually save on expenses. So net, you improve your bottom line because you've reduced your expenses more than you've spent implementing this technology. So you reduce labor, would be the big one here.
Yeah, I am.
That's what
But-
you're trying to do. Future forward, you don't have to pay for water, so you have a huge uptick there that you're not costing that would normally be cost. But we can still save on power, on how often we're running, when we're running, why we're running. In turn, all that starts leading to fertilization usage, how often we're having to put any seed down, how often we're mowing, because if we're overwatering, sometimes we're gonna get more growth than what we'd want. So now we've got to mow extra, and there's just so much that snowballs after that,
No,
that we can start drawing back from.
I just wanted to get an idea of what, you know, we as a city were looking at financially.
Yeah.
I mean, all that technology, when it comes to technology, this is the level of my knowledge of technology. I'm so technologically illiterate, it's pathetic. Thank God I have kids. They're all born with an iPad. But, no, I just wanted to understand the cost that was associated with, you know, such a leap in technology that we have to make or looking at possibly making. Because we are in a situation now to where we have to make, we're gonna take a hit on this regardless.
Sure.
It's like any new thing. If it's like buying a new car, you know, your old car, you bled you dry, but you're gonna have to make that leap.
I will say something that I went out and looked at, that I think gives some perspective. I queried AI. Actually, I use Claude, for those that are familiar with different AI programs.
Claude's awesome.
Yeah, Claude is awesome. Claude's a smart dude. Anyway,
Very powerful.
I asked the question of, what does it cost to build a golf course in Oklahoma today? What should you anticipate spending? And the answer, in a municipal course, and the answer he came back with was $3 to $7 million.
Oh, my God.
So you can think about, we've got and that's not counting the land. Of course, we don't own the land. But if you consider that size of an investment, you know, that we've got out there, and we run about, and somebody will correct me on this, but I don't know the number. It used to be about 20,000 rounds a year. Now, that's not 20,000 different people playing, but it's 20,000 rounds of golf played by, you know, members and the fee-paying public. And so when you consider the quality of life, that golf course could arguably be the biggest quality of life asset that we have in the city if you measure it by the number of transactions, with the exception of Mr. Moore's place there.
Right.
Because he's got 2,000 members, and he's no telling. How many do you have an average, Mike, on a day? Do you know what you guys average a day, or a month, or?
Well, daily, we probably have 300 to 500.
Yeah, so you multiply that times 360, and it's gonna be hard for anybody to beat that. But when you think about what the city spends its money on, that provides when you're serving that many people, that's where we want to spend money, is where we're getting the best bang for the buck out of it. So there may be a lot of people that look at it and go, oh, this is the golf course. Well, it is a golf course, but there's a lot of people that go out there, and there's a lot of people that play.
Oh, there's no doubt that it's definitely seriously revenue producing for the city and for everybody involved. And I wouldn't want to see it disappear and go to the wayside.
No.
It's
No, I
just
know.
I'm just, like I said, I was playing the devil's advocate here.
They're good. No, you're asking a good question.
I just want, not only for myself, but the people that are watching, I want them to have a better understanding of it too, because let's face it, they're the ones that are gonna be out there playing on it.
Well, that is a good question, and one of the things to think about, Windows 7,
Well, that's definitely,
there's a lot of stuff, and it's not Dennis's fault, it's not anybody's fault, it was just, it's kind of the old thing, ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, there comes a point whenever it ain't broke, let's not fix it, where we gotta fix it.
yeah, that doesn't always
And
work.
it's to the point, just like this, these watering. One thing between two of those boxes, which is what, 200 yards apart, 300, whatever it is in the ground, going across the creek to another box. And that's where it was nicked at. And so the entire system has been down, and they've been watered by hand, so it means extra manpower to water.
Oh, yeah.
And which means they're not mowing, they're not doing any type of other activities but watering. And so it takes a lot to
Oh, yeah.
do that. So whenever you start thinking about, all right, we're gonna update to the 20th century, yeah, there's a cost to it, but the benefit of it is the technology, the way this is set up, it's all right there on a page. We'll look at water, how much water has been used, which hole, there you go. We start talking about the golf carts, and we wanna see how many rounds, cart number 25 is made, or how many is used. It can all be put in there.
No, I get all that, and it's a wonderful idea. I was just curious about the initial hit, financially. And I know it's gonna be
Important question.
quite costly.
I bet
Now,
you couldn't put, if we just, cause I'm gonna find out tomorrow, by the way, what it would cost to replace those hunters out there.
oh, I'm sure it's not cheap, if you
I,
can.
I bet you, and I don't know this for certain, but I'll know, it may be as much as what this entire project costs just to replace what's out there.
Oh, that's true. That's like new old stock. You need to find it for your automobile, and you need that part. It's the only way it'll make the car run. It's gonna be expensive,
Well, this.
the older it gets.
With this, it's not proprietary, so it's not, we gotta go to Hunter, or we gotta go to.
You're not locked into one,
It won't be, it's
so
all
it's,
Common parts.
parts that they would use in
Okay.
any plant out there in the industrial park. So that puts another thing to where it's not locked into us. Or
Makes it more cost
C5 to
effective.
do it,
Okay.
it could be anybody, if they have knowledge on, you know, how to work on drives and CPUs, they could do it, but.
so it's more cost effective in the long run.
And this is not, you're really raising a good point, and I think the bigger point here is, typically, in something like this, you're either what they call strategic, which you plan it out, and you say, I've got a strategy that this is the road we're going down, or you're opportunistic. And opportunistic is something happens. In this case, we've had something happen at the golf course, and we've lost our, you know, the guy
Sure.
that ran the course and was able to, and he was doing great things. You heard me brag about him. But if we want to be opportunistic, this is the time that we would look at, okay, let's change the way we operate this thing. And here's the thing is, we can't spend too much money because we're only spending money that we have. We don't have money from any place else. So if it's too expensive, that's the end of the opportunity for us. And
True.
we don't know the numbers well enough to know if this is even doable. But like I said, it's just, okay, this has happened. What are we gonna do? How are we gonna move going forward?
Well, and that might be the approach we take. Let's do baby steps. Let's just do them as self-contained units to start with, that we've got to be within a proximity that I can make a Bluetooth connection to make any changes to. Otherwise, it's going to run on its setup schedule. And we don't really have much overview beyond that, if we're trying to mitigate cost. And then we can do one at a time. And once all those are in place, now let's go ahead and get that software package, and let's get our main panel that we're going to have for that server and that main unit.
So when will you have a bid for us?
I could realistically probably have one by late next week put together. If you're trying to get one soon. Otherwise, I
Sounds
could
like
definitely
we
have
need
it
to
ready
do
by the
something
next.
soon, So, because we could always have a special park board meeting if
So-
if you could get it together.
I want you all to think of this, and just to let everybody know, Chris beats me up whenever I start talking, because I get some crazy ideas, and he'll go, wait a minute, what are you talking about? And Chris is very good about beating me up on it, which is good. But when you think about the big picture, we lost the only person that had 90% of the information that goes on. He had helpers that retained some, but let's say one of those guys quit. Two of them quit.
You're
Then
at a
what?
creek with no paddle.
You have zero information.
Takes the knowledge with them.
All the knowledge left. So now, that's gone. It's all historical data from here on out. You can go back and look for eons. Here's the pictures, here's the hole, this is what it done on this date, this is what it did this year. Chris brought up a point about being a dry year. It's been a dry year. Back in 2000, blah, 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 we saw this, and this is what happened. This is the things we saw at whole, all that information is gathered. So there's never a time to where if you don't pay me more, I'm leaving.
True, you're not held hostage.
Exactly. And a lot of these companies have went to that just for that fact of their smart guy. Chris, you can, attest to this, that smart guy leaves and all the information goes with him and
Well,
you're at mercy.
not even that. You could walk out that door and get run over by a Mack truck.
Exactly.
Same
There's all
difference.
kinds of things can happen. So the information part of this is probably the best because we're gaining information that we've never had clear pictures on. The city's never had clear pictures on. Couldn't tell truthfully how many rounds of golf we're playing. We're taking it off of pen and paper.
So,
Not now. We can, anything you can think of could be added in.
so
So-
can we make a motion to get this thing started and then call a special park board meeting to go over it? Because to me, it sounds like you're saying this is something we shouldn't be waiting on.
Yeah.
Especially with the heat and everything else. I mean, every day, we're taking a chance.
Mike, how bad was it with your guys? I mean, I don't know how nobody had a heat stroke out there.
Well, they've been holding up pretty well, but yeah, they're watered 3 or 4 times, just depending on what the meter says and just trying, it's just when they get done, they gotta almost start over.
And then you said it took all day just to find one problem.
When I got there at 7 o'clock this morning, they were already out looking for that.
And this could have avoided all that. Well, so what do we need to do? Do we need to make a motion to have him get started, put something together, and then come back to us?
I believe so.
I don't know if we need a motion. I think Chris is probably pretty motivated to put something together. And
I'm all for it.
he's sensing, I'm sure, from us that, hey, you've got a receptive audience to hear what your ideas are. And I think he also understands that we've got a limited budget, and whatever that we do, we've got to make sure that we're not increasing our expenses beyond what we can save with the tech. So I think he understands both sides of that equation. So I think it's just a matter of, and I'm gonna tell you that this is not a trivial task, because we'll have 10,000 questions when he brings that proposal in. It will be, there'll be a lot of questions.
That's all right.
But I think what we got tonight was, now it kind of makes sense what we're talking about and why we would be talking about this. This is an opportunity.
Yep.
And do we try to do something with this? Or do we go back to the model that we were? And, we know how that model works, and we know how we need to staff it. But we're gonna have to, if that's gonna be our long-term solution, we're gonna have to get busy with that too. Because we're right in the middle of summer. And these greens, if we lose them, we got,
The golf course.
we're gonna have some real problems.
So let's do it.
Okay. Chris will get involved and do that, but, I'm gonna abstain from anything we do, so vote-wise, so, just to be clear. But I also wanted you to know that Chris and I don't look at this as an opportunity to sell. We look at it as, he grew up here, went to school here, I live here. We put,
Golf here.
we golf here, and there's a tournament.
I'm still
we
in
invest
town
it.
every, I don't live in Pryor any city limits anymore, but I'm still in town here every day. I've had my kids play sports through
So I would think
the
you
city.
could
I
have
go to the
vested
rec
interest
almost every day,
in
not
that
quite
side.
every day.
Yeah, I mean,
You gotta
we're not looking at this as, make a lot, that's not the point of it. It's,
I want to see it stay out.
we wanna see it
I don't wanna
stay,
see it go to the
grow,
wayside.
and improve. If
'Cause
we're gonna improve it, let's improve it.
I agree.
within the last 10 to 15 years, there's a lot of municipality golf courses that closed across the state. To where there's still a good number out there, but it's such a limited number compared to what it once was.
And those that are still surviving, a lot of them are subsidized by the city.
Yes, yeah, very much so.
So it gives you a little different look upon things because Chris goes to Mike's, he's at we have a deal set up for our company to, all of our employees to go to the gym. I mean, we make it a point to keep our money and invest back into the city.
You have a vested interest in it.
Oh,
know?
I'm in 100% agreement. I mean, this city, in order for it to grow, our main attractions have to be maintained. If you don't have them, things start to disappear, and it
that's-
becomes a ghost town.
It's happened a lot.
And I've watched it happen in some other areas that I'm familiar with. So sure, yeah, do I want to see progress there? Absolutely. So,
I mean, that's the reason why we bought a business and we moved it to Pryor.
I moved it from Tulsa to here.
well, like I said, don't get me wrong, I was just playing the devil's advocate
No,
for a
you,
purpose.
we,
You know,
we
and I-
welcome it, and I know there's gonna be lots of shots called and stuff, but it's not,
Yeah, but it wasn't meant to.
I'd rather you ask, and that way I can
Right,
provide
that's
good
exactly-
answers.
that's
That way
exactly
there's
the reason
clarity
I'm doing
across
it.
the board.
Is because I want people to be aware of what they're looking at. I don't want them to go in with an assumption, well, you told me. That's not what we said. I want you to hear both sides of this clearly, so you know, because how many times do we get asked questions about a water venue? And they already know the status of that, and it's been discussed
Well-
millions of times.
think about this, Mike or the mayor or whoever is set up as an administrator, Mike could be sitting at his house, get a message on his telephone that he has in his hand, hey, just saw where, you know, the watering system at between 5 and 6 is down.
I actually just thought of something else, because you're talking about, Mike, about the rec, the pool. Do you have overview of that right now? What's happening there?
As far
Like, can you
Monitoring
see-
pumps and
monitoring?
filtration.
I can, we can
That
set
can be
we can
integrated
set
into
another
that.
point there, if that's under Parks
This
and
just
Rec.
seems to
and
get better and
We
better.
can see what the pool
We
temp
can do
is,
this.
we
We
can
can
see
do
if
this.
pumps are running.
We can do the park,
We can connect to the HVAC units and see what the ACs are doing.
Y'all are spending a lot of money right now.
So you can turn the HVAC
but that's the
off, so it's not
beauty of
freezing.
this.
Depending upon the
It's
age
just a
of it,
page.
I might have to update some controls of it to be able to do that, to be able to control it, but we can for sure monitor it and give alerts when things are not
Everybody's
functioning.
freezing.
And that way it doesn't wait till the next morning, somebody sees it the night before when it's.
Let's see what this young man can come up with.
So Chris, it sounds like we want you to put together some sort of proposal for us.
I can do
Okay?
that.
So when you do this, will it come kind of in phases? So, you know, this is kind of, I mean, it sounds like the most important thing right now is to get the pumps.
So that quote's already out there. If you want me to conjoin it in with this, I can. But that quote, the mayor does have that one
Okay.
currently. But what I'll do is I'll put separate line items of kind of major points.
Okay.
And that way it can be picked and choose from accordingly with appropriate quantities.
So if you can get that done,
That sounds reasonable.
if we need
Yeah.
an extra meeting or something,
We can do that, we'll set it up.
sounds good.
Awesome.
Well, thank you
Any
for
other
all.
questions, guys?
Sorry I took so long.
Oh,
No,
Thank
it was
you.
an education.
Yes, it was.
all right. Mike, you gonna come up here and start talking to us a little bit, what you're seeing? Sorry.
Where we
I
at?
know, well, we're still doing, that's a golf course.
Okay.
That was kind of unforeseen business, but trying to get it worked in. Sean's back there too, 'cause I want to visit with him for a few minutes, but some of the stuff we're talking about the golf course, you really don't know what you don't know. And
Right.
when you think about assets, that's a huge asset.
Yes, it is.
I don't think anybody realizes, you know how much cost is, you know, a true payment that we have to make out there? It's just the golf carts. So it's a huge profit center that goes all the time. At the same time, the visibility of that place has been none. We were, you know, whatever Dennis said was what we took. We had the money in the bank to show that there was so many rounds played and stuff, but it's true visibility of what it costs, labor, product, none of that. We never had that. So this is a step to that next step. And how is your help doing right now out there at the golf course? I know that we've
Yeah.
lost some and gained some. and-
Yeah, there's been a little bit of back and forth, but for the most part, the main players have stayed, you know. Like I said, we brought Cartwright on, who has a level of expertise and then this Philip Newell as well, particularly on the mechanical side of things. And, he'd been working over in Langley, I guess, and so he was just rattling off a lot of things, and so those two guys alone, will give us a nice boost, so. But, yeah, we're just, it's kind of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing, really. I mean, that's kind of been, we tried to tell the staff and everyone, we're not turning this thing upside down by any stretch, just trying to see where we can maybe fill some gaps and, it's the old, you get better, you get worse, you don't stay the same, right? And, coming from the athletic side of things, and that's kind of what we've tried to do at the rec center, we'll just keep things going, and that building's 20 years old, as everybody knows, and we've done, we focused a lot on maintenance and HVAC and that kind of thing, and so, it had gone well, but, the time has come to do some new things, just kind of like with what Chris brought, and, I've got the financials here, and I don't know, do y'all get those at all?
No.
So I would, once I kind of get rolling, you'll get that stuff from me.
Okay.
Just like the rec board, but, the net, revenue over expenditures last year was $296,000. And so right now, there's $644,000 in the checking account. And so, in my mind, when I look at it, about spending 260 or whatever on an automated thing, because if we keep the level of membership and things going, we'll have that cash flow year after year, to help support some things like that, some new changes in technology to keep the course. It's just a vicious cycle, right? And so, I think, getting that pump system and all the watering and up to snuff and all, then the guys can spend time doing some other things to really manicure the course and the details and raise the bar. I had a conversation today with Boomer, we visited a little bit because he's kind of taken over the pro shop and he's scheduling workers and he'll, I can see him, he's a young, enthusiastic, good guy with people and all that kind of thing, kind of taking care of ordering goods and things. And I know, we'll probably have another guy to kind of the new dentist, whatever that comes to be at some point. But he's a young man, I think, that can do some things and help us. And we talked about, hey, it's been good, but we want to, there's some things we can improve on and raise the level and provide a better service, for all of our people and members and all, and just start to spruce things up a little bit. I would encourage you to, as the mayor said, get a golf cart and drive around the course a little bit, but be sure and go out by the shop. That's an area that nobody really pays any attention to, but the shop, the buildings, and we need to purge a lot of things out there. I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot of stuff. I mean, it's in the weeds. You can't really see it unless you go over there, but it's kind of a mess, and
It needs to get cleaned.
yeah, and the the break room out there, mayor commissioned to we got a air conditioner in there. I was in there today. I brought Centos in there because we needed an air freshener and a paper towel dispenser and just, some of the basics, but that whole area, just take a look through, just walk through there.
It is actually cool in that break room.
Yeah, it's not bad. I was in there today. And, so, and I'm kind of teeing it up because we're gonna need to spend some money, I mean, one of those sheds, the roof's gone on one side, right? And the rest, on the one shed on the other side, that's all rotting. It's the one that has the bathrooms in it that you come off the course. And that's the other thing, we've got to, the bathrooms need to be nicer, And, I know vandalism and that kind of thing, that pops in because we're out there in the middle of nowhere, but I still think there's some things that we can do to make it better,
Well, a question I have for you. Do you feel like your help has leveled off and the players who are gonna be there are gonna be there?
I think so, yeah.
And do you feel like, do you have any type of idea what the spend's gonna be for that yet? for what our labor costs will be.
No, so that's another thing, because dig in this, so I've got a sheet that has like our temp help, and it's, the budget's 132,000, but I don't know per person or per position what that is, so what I'm gonna have, and we don't have that because that was paid through A and B, right? And so, but what I can do is I can go to Express, I believe, and get the hours.
Okay.
And then I can do the math and all, because we need, because Boomer needs to know that too, so about scheduling, we've got plenty of money to do, but we need budgets, we need to know what we're doing and how, what's going on.
So, are you hearing anything from golfers besides the normal stuff that we dealt with for first month?
No,
Has that calmed down some?
I think so. I've seen some guys that I know, talked to Mr. Kennegeezer a little bit the other day for a while, and that seemed to go well. Yeah, I mean, I try to sample, some of the guys that come in, the ones that I know, and a buddy of mine was in town. He played out there the other day, and it rained, and they were underneath the shelter on the backside over there, and there was a couple of ladies in there, and they were like, yeah, I heard they might be raising the rates, and I said, no. And so he called me and he asked me what was going on, and I said, well, I don't think we've got any plans to do that right. We're sitting in pretty good shape, from what I can tell. So, the rumor mill starts, people start getting a little paranoid and concerned and all, but, I've tried to send the message that, we're not turning it upside down. We're just gonna try to take what, and do a little tweaking here and there and just keep moving forward.
So, one of the action items I put on there, and I want your input on this, Mike. So, it was discuss possible recommend to council action to go out for bids for administrator of golf course concessions.
Yeah.
So, my idea would be that if it's a consumable, edible, if it's human consumable food-wise, they need to be responsible for it. Not let us worry about it. That's their baby. Let them order it and take care of it. And with that being said, that's where our beer license comes in and gets taken care of. So they would have the beer, drinks.
When you say they, Keith, who are you referring to?
Well, we'll have to go out to bid for it. Find one of our locals, hopefully. Mary, kind of talk about it. We could,
You're not talking a person, you're talking a company.
well, somebody local, preferably, a restaurant or somebody that wants to set that up locally, let them handle the pizza.
Well, I think the confusing thing probably is the verbiage golf course concessions. What do you mean by concessions?
Just food. Food
Food and drink.
and drinks.
So let me chime in on this real quick, because we have learned a little bit from kind of where we're at. Couple of things. One, when we first thought that we were going to be taking this on, and we kind of did, we reached out. Anybody that I've reached out or heard from, 4 or 5 that have gotten back, if you do that, and you want somebody third party to run that pro shop for the purposes of carrying that liquor license, be prepared to give them 95% of the profits that pro shop makes. That's a no from me, because I'm gonna tell you right now, we can go and we can made enough of them, trips to Sam's. We can get those things brought in. One of the little things we talk about, Alani's, right? We got a lot of ladies out there that golf, and that's not something we've never carried, those little, some people call them foo-foo drinks, right? I can go out and I can buy a case of Alani, and we're gonna pay about $22 for a case. We sell them for $2.65, I think, right now. And right now, we're pulling in about $47 per case. So we're more than doubling what we're putting into it. That's money that is going right back into the golf course right now. If the city can set up, we had Love's Bottling and PepsiCo come through. They can manage those orders. That's easy. But again, The more people you get into this, you're right back into where we were, where those funds are going right back out to a third party, and we won't have the funds we need to run. 95% of the proceeds from that pro shop does not allow me to staff it. It does not allow me to staff it. If we run it and we do it, if you watched the council meeting the other night, we were talking about it, and Hannah kind of lit up. She's like, yeah, it's making some money right now. We can make it super profitable. Mike and I visited with a clothing vendor the other day, Thursday. They're local. We're going to say local. It's out of Broken Arrow. It's Birdies and Bogies. And we can get that same quality polyester spandex shirt that we've had out there, whether it's FJ, Puma, Nike, Callaway, whatever. We can get them at $30 a piece, embroidered, $30 a piece with a minimum order quantity of 25 in a variety of colors and things. They'd have new city brand on them, and we can turn around and sell them for $60 to $70 because it's the exact same thing that you're buying everywhere else. That's money that goes right back into buying more product and back into the coffers of the golf course. So I would really caution, like, if we decide to farm this out, and we're working with all kinds of options right now on how to get the liquor out there. We put some signage up. Most people are pretty understanding. What we need more than anything right now are some marshals that go out there, and we've had some people getting a little crazy on the weekend. We had a guy the other day take his shirt off, and that's not okay. That's not okay. We're gonna have a meeting with the golfers. I talked to Johnette Duck at the district today, and I told her that I want the bunker on a Tuesday night, and we're gonna have an open meeting for the members. It'll be open to the members, not necessarily to the public, because I want to hear what they have to say. I want to hear those things. But if we get into a scenario where we're farming it back out, we're farming those profits right back out. And if we hire somebody in, and the only way we can get a good contract with somebody to run that, a director of golf, is we got to give a percentage of proceeds.
So
Not a negative.
how do we get our liquor license?
Let me respond to that, because I've done some research on what you're talking about there, and it looks like the standard margins, and margin being the difference between the price you sell it for and what you pay for it, is about 50%. So that's what you're finding out. The kicker is you've got operating expenses that go against that, and those operating expenses is your labor. And that's what's that's gonna be the challenge, is getting your labor down low enough that you can bring up. And typically, what I'm seeing on this, after you pay, I think the number is, I look at it, you may be at, on food and beverage and pro shop admin, I probably shouldn't say this number, but it's gonna be probably, it's stuff that I've got off, if you can make sense of it. These aren't real numbers, the percentages are the real. The percentages tell you what percentage you should expect when you take your sales price, less your cost of goods sold,
You're preaching to the choir, Chris.
less your operating
So
expenses.
you're talking to somebody with 25-plus years of retail management. This
Okay.
is my specialty.
Well, I don't know what it
So-
was in your business, but here, it looks pretty slim. It looks pretty slim when you
let me-
take the labor out.
Let me address that. So any retail, if you can run soft lines, hard lines, right? Hard lines are going to be your clubs, your grips, those kind of things. Soft lines are going to be your clothing, your food, such like that, right? If we can run a 30 to 50 or greater margin, we will be profitable. We will be profitable. And if we're buying concessions right now and we're doubling our money on everything that we bring in, we will be profitable. Where we're gonna run into a problem is the product that we don't sell, right? So if I've got honey buns and we find that those honey buns are not moving, then we need to not buy honey buns. Then we need to buy something else, or we need to just drop that item as a whole. What we're not gonna have for a while, and this is what we talked about that last time, we're not gonna have any numbers to compare to. We just won't. Don't ask, they won't be there. We can look at things, we can look at what we've got, but what I can tell you is if we can turn good margins and not bring in a whole pro shop full of overhead, we've got a pretty hefty, credit line that we got through Callaway. I have no intent on even spending a fifth of it because we don't need it. They're not coming in there to buy full sets of clubs, but they might come in to buy, I don't know, they're not buying hats. Heaven knows we got 600 hats out there that nobody's bought. So today we had to take them down and clear them out. I need that overhead. We're going to get rid of them. A little bit above cost is what we're going to push them through because I need that space for stuff that will sell. Shirts, gloves, things like that. We bought some more range balls. Every member out there was paying $7 for range balls, even though they've got a membership. As of this morning, if you are a paid up to full member, you will not pay for a small warm-up bucket of golf balls. Right?
That's right.
Now, please don't look at them. We ordered them from a company called Found Balls. It was an online, it is. Some of them are a little out there. Some of the images, one of them had like a SpongeBob and an emoji and some other things that I won't say in front of the microphone, but don't judge us on that. It was a box of 2,000 and that's what we got. But the thing is those are the things where we will gain funds that the city's never seen because they weren't things that were accounted for. When you get a membership, you expect to get those warm-up balls. Not a big one, but something. And in the past, those members have been paying for them. $7 a watt right on into, not the city. That's how I'm going to address that, not the city. Right now, I'm going to get more people, more memberships, more people coming back. That course has been packed every day. And it's people that are coming. You asked earlier what we're hearing. I get people that came up to me over the weekend and said, you know what? I didn't think you could do it. And I was on the other side of the bar, but you've impressed us. I said, it's not me. It's Mike, it's the course, it's the crew, it's everybody. They're working their butts off. The whole goal is to take the level that the Bowmans gave us. They gave it to us. They worked hard. We want to take that level and we want to step it up a notch. And then we want to reach out to people that have left for whatever purpose that we have no control over. And we want to say, you know what, come back. Come back and try us out. I'll give you a free thing of balls for today. Whatever it takes, right? So there is some fence mending that needs to be done. I'm not pointing fingers, but we need to do that. We need to do some recruiting. We also need to, I'm just going to say this, the number of people that have approached me and Mike in the last 3 weeks about playing golf for free kind of pisses me off. And I get deals happen and things are done and, hey, instead of this, we'll do that. But I won't throw anybody into, I've had a lot of people, you've had it, we've talked about it, corner me in the pro shop and say, hey, you ain't gonna make me pay. I've never had to pay out here. I've done this, this, and this. And I go, oh, for real? Let me tell you right now, as the super admin to 4UP, I type in somebody's last name and I can see who's golfing for free. I can see who's paid. I can see who's missed their tee time and had it forgiven. I can see what we paid for a pair of sunglasses. I can see everything. We're losing money on all of that stuff. Now, there are going to be those things where, let's say we get some marshals and there are a couple of guys and we get 4 of them and they're going to come and he's going to do it on Monday and Friday. He marshals for 2 hours and they say, yeah, go play around. Those kind of things happen. But what we've talked about, what Mike and I have talked about, certain council members, those frees need to come across my desk, not through a golf director, not through the shop, not through deals. That doesn't work that way. We're losing so much money. So as we start, we're not out to make everybody mad. I'm not racing in. That's not my emergency. What I'm saying is we got to hone in on that stuff. And I think if we can hone in on those things and take control, this is why the council wanted eyes on it. And I'm sorry, we got eyes. And they'll make you cry. Now, you look at some of these accounts that we've had a couple accounts with past due balances. Why do we have past due balances? I don't know. It's not mine to play, but I don't care. In my accounts, I'm talking Callaway, Titleist, things like that. Shouldn't have those. But when we signed to that agreement for separation between A and B in the city, what's theirs is theirs and what's ours is ours. And I think the city is going to find that running that the right way with the right people in place and a crew that's ready to rock and roll It's going to be very profitable, and we have plans. Look, we got cart buildings. I don't know if any of you got a cart out there, but they're death traps. And I've talked to one of our local bankers who is very active in city stuff, and I said, what would it look like for us to put up a 60 by 120 building with a concrete floor and some parking curbs and move all of those golf carts that the patrons have into there, give them electricity and a locker? Well, we'll probably look at something. If it's just a standard open shell building, we could probably do it for 200,000 based on this and this. We got it down to a payment that those cart fees will pay for that building in about 2 years. Then we take those other those other garages that are there and old and dilapidated, we doze them and turn it into parking. Then they can stop parking in the grass. We're taking it up one step. And it's using the resources we have, it's thinking outside the box, but we can't do those things if we don't have control of the funds. We've talked about bringing in a bookkeeper. Mike's got a lady that we talked about the other day. You know, it doesn't make any sense going forward if we're gonna be looking at how many cart rentals would compensate somebody possibly in a bonus like we did with Dennis. Why would we want that person tallying up their own cart rentals, right? So we get a bookkeeper, we get an office person who can manage that, do the bank deposits, do the Z-reads. We have had a nightmare with the bank deposits and the balances and the drawers, and it's gonna take time to get in there and train the staff to do it the way the city needs it to be done, to be super profitable. And when we start getting the little details, like just knowing that the deposits are being made every day, those things will help, and we'll get better idea. But right now, I think the best thing we can do is look at, getting somebody in there to run the paperwork side of it, whether it's, a lady or something that has some office management ability, can do some, we're talking basic level bookkeeping. Can also help Boomer do the ordering and keeping those invoices moving. But we can't begin to get a good idea of where that pro shop is financially if we turn right around and hand it to somebody else, and then we're right back where we were.
Well, aren't we gonna be paying somebody anyway to be working in the pro shop?
We have people there working now.
Right, but they could keep track of
See, that's the thing. We're
selling
kinda
the
getting too
Doritos
far on the deal, because the workers that are, checking people in and all that kind of thing, they're also handling the beverages and
Concessions.
food, so,
Well, I guess where I'm going with that is, what's our answer for our liquor, to put beer out there?
One of the things we're talking about is trying to establish a golf trust,
let's get to the important stuff.
right?
Well, that's.
It is important.
I'm getting hammered.
Well, we all are, and I think the thing is, okay, right? I got a call the other day from an individual that works for the Able Commission. I'm gonna say it really fast, you don't need to write anything down, we'll just hear it, right? That there were complaints that somebody was drinking alcohol on the course. It's still a public place, and it's not illegal to drink alcohol in a public place. But when we start selling alcohol again, we have to say, that needs to come from us. Did you follow that? I said that really fast on purpose, but the point is, I'm not out there, we don't have time to chase people around and go, you got a beer in your bag and I didn't sell it to you. Listen, we're gonna pick our fights right now. We're working on this. We've got to, the best thing that we can do is find a way to establish a golf trust and let that golf trust manage those things, but it has to be people who, like you guys or whatever, that say, we're not here to make a profit out of it. We're here to allow that licensing to take place. What does that look like? That means if it is a golf trust, every member of that trust has to put their name on that liquor license. That'd be you, and you. There's a little bit of liability that comes with that. The other option is we farm it out and we give all of our proceeds to a third party, and we're worse off now than we were before. I think I know it sucks, and this is where I say that meeting with the members is gonna be vital, to say, we're working on it. And Mike will tell you, we're out there every day. Sometimes we switch back and forth, and a couple times a day. The positive responses right now are coming as we're communicating to the members. Here's what's happening. And every one of them's like, hey, cool, I got it. I had a pretty predominant guy in the community hit me up this morning, and I just sat there in that chair that Susan used to sit in. You were there when I came. I was still sitting there when you walked in. And we just talked, and he's like, Zach, I love that you're posting what's happening. You're telling people where we're at. You're being vocal. They know it's gonna take time, but we're gonna make up for it in the things like, now you get a free range balls. Now we're gonna do this. We're doing these, and they're not things that cost us money. Yeah, we gotta buy some balls, a couple $100 buys those balls. But how many times is each one of those range balls gonna be picked up and put back and picked up and put back and picked up and put back? It's a one-time cost. So, we've looked at the opportunity that we have to maybe buy a ball dispenser for the range. You can do those with a password or swipe your credit card. They take those balls, they dump it, and it's a machine about as big as this. If you want to go after this meeting, if this meeting, ends at 9 o'clock tonight and you want to go out there and drive, go swipe your card, get a small bucket and go drive. But those are just the little luxuries that we can do for minimal cost, minimal things, those funds that were going into bonuses and large paychecks and things that we don't have right now. So that's all coming right back into the course at this point, right? So we can do those changes. We can say, hey, we're talking about this pump situation. I think that was a great conversation. That's going to be healthy to get that pump taken care of. But also having the guys out there where people see it and saying, hey, Chris is back. They're working on this. Here's this. We got this. Boomer. Let's talk about Boomer for a minute. I don't know one guy that doesn't walk into that shop and say, hey, Boomer, how'd you play today? Hey, Boomer, how'd you play? But I will tell you that I made Boomer a deal. Boomer is, 23? 23. He's from Saline and Kenwood area. To look at him on the street, you'd never know that he's one of the best golfers out there. And he has started his PGA training. That same training that we heard was 1 in 100 in the United States. It's like 1 in 100 in Mays County. I'm just saying. I told Boomer, you stick it out with us and you stay where you're at, you run this shop, and when you get it done, the city will pay for that PGA licensing. $4,300, and I mean every minute of it. If I have to do that to keep Boomer, who they love and is good and can do the job we need, my God, we're gonna make so much money off of Boomer, it's crazy. And he's gonna get what he wants, he's gonna be happy. The morale on that staff right now is leaps and bounds above where it was a month ago. They have surety. They know that when we come in and say, hey, I need this, but let's do this, like the ice machine. We're gonna put a bigger ice machine, take it out of that back corner, put it right up where it works, and they're gonna have functionality. They can scoop and do without leaving the room. Those little things need to be done. We've taken it on. I think we need to maintain that for the foreseeable future. And in that, we'll see the profitability, whether we're running a 30 or a 40% margin. We now have control over what comes and goes out of there. We have control over what comes and goes in the financials.
So, back to the beer, do we need to set up a trust then?
I think we've got, Adam and I are kind of talking and working. I think we're gonna reach out to you and plug you in that little conversation here any day now. But we've got to have some discussion on what that looks like. We're working on the legals. Chase is doing some research. I'm gonna let Chase do his thing right now, because he's got to make sure the city's good to go. Again, I'm not gonna chase anybody out of the golf course right now that has a Budweiser in their bag. That isn't, I don't have time for it. Not saying let's go out there and get hammered. We still expect, decorum.
Why do you
whatever
think
wanna call it.
Marshalls, because I played out there Sunday and that was one, and there needs to be Marshalls, because there were several groups in front of us, and
Yeah, they're
you
just,
can tell that there needs to be somebody out there, hey, pick up your pace, let's go.
pick up your pace, fill in your divots, stay on the path.
Yep, there's a bunch of them. In fact, I caught one in front of us, because he was dragging his feet across the green.
But as a whole,
Just short.
Mike, I think you'll agree, as a whole, the golfing community, even those that 3 weeks ago had a different outlook, is very supportive. Everybody that I talk to says, hey, anything we can do to help, let's do it. Because I think they see that the intent of the city is to really make that the best it can be. And that, I'm not just talking to talk, we're gonna do it. We're gonna make that pro shop profitable, we're gonna clean it up, we're gonna add some life to the building by putting some vinyl and insulation on it. That's what we can do right now. We put
So
that
we
money,
feel comfortable enough then not to try to go after somebody to,
give us a few weeks, and like I said, we'll bring you in that conversation and see where we're at, so.
well, I guess if we're for certain, we can maintain that and maintain everything else out there.
I'm certain we can.
Yeah, I think so. All the staff inside have been used to doing it already, kind of, so that's the beauty of it. You know, we don't have to really train them too much, you know, to continue to serve and do the things they've been doing.
We just got to support them and give them what they need. And they're,
How many do we have now in the pro shop? How many people?
well, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we're about 5 or 6.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, I was trying to.
We had one start today, Troop Brown, who's, what is his name? He sat right there. Tyler Brown's son started today. He golfs on the high school team, so he'll be out there, you know.
We are losing Kaylee. She's taking another job in her kind of her career path, in the veterinarian world, so we will lose her in another week, I think.
But she agreed to stay on as like weekends and as needed, so
We need some help.
she's through Express. Most of those are through Express, which is fine. It's when we get to the boomers and those guys, we need them to be on the city staff.
I was incorrect a minute ago. I said that budget number on the part-timer on the 132, that's for the course workers, not the pro shop, because I don't have any numbers.
We have no numbers for
I
that.
don't have any numbers on the pro shop. But if I can get those hours from Express, I can kind of figure out what the budget would be, what it would look like. So that's my goal this week.
Well, just thinking about those numbers, I think about, that's a 12 to 12 operation, right? 7 days a week. And do you limit them to 40 hours a week?
Yeah, oh yeah, because there's enough, they're intertwined, you know, through the course of the week, so.
So somebody's better at math than I am, but if you take 7 days, 12 hours a day, that's 84 hours. And that takes 2 people to work 84 hours, right? And so how many people, if you've got 4 or 5, I mean, it's gonna take you 2 people to work that 84 hours. Depending on if you got 3 people in the pro shop, that's 6 people to work the 84, if my math's right. If you've got 5 people, you're talking about, that would give you, if you gotta do marshals, you gotta do beverage people. Here's where I'm going with it. It's just so, I know we've talked about these different things, but in the end, it's what's in the numbers. I mean, managing it by the numbers, and that way we don't have to have,
Well, and something to keep in mind as you talk about pro shop versus course. In the past, pro shop was fueling the carts, washing the carts, cleaning
Yeah.
things, lining them up. Is that something going forward that we want to put on the course? Do we want it on pro shop? What do we got? I mean, there's a lot of logistics that, the way that A and B ran it, that was their way, and it was fine. It worked for them. But if we're taking this on, we have an opportunity to say, you know what? We can realign some things and make it more productive. We've got a kid now that's been fueling the carts and washing them, says, hey, I'd like to be out here helping mow. Okay, so do a little bit of this, pick up the balls, and then go mow. Those are the kind of things where we can find positions to say, hey, let's merge that here, let's put things here. 3 weeks is not enough time to make a judgment call, other than, I know we can be profitable. I'm not a shadow of a doubt. We're not.
So is the goal then to have the pro shop pay for its own help inside?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, and that's how we're keying it in the system.
And it will make profit even on top of that, you think?
We're gonna find out. We don't have any numbers to really know.
We know what the dailies have
what the
been.
history is. That's
And-
the tough part.
We know what the dailies have been, and
It's looking good.
you can come talk to Hannah, she'll confirm. They're good. They're good.
So then on item C and action items then,
I'd take no action if you don't mind.
take no action on it instead of tabling it.
I think that's the way to go. No action.
Everybody,
Yep, sounds good to me.
so let's take no action on that then. Do I need to vote on that?
No.
And then,
Excuse me.
the discuss possible recommend council action to transfer a portion of golf course capital outlay account funds to a money market account for long-term capital expenditures. Did everybody kind of understand that?
I think the only thing we have to think about when you're talking about, I'm keen on the term long-term. Are you thinking about CDs? Okay.
CDs, CDRs, whatever. So the city council, even before I came on, gave Lori Ballou as the treasurer, that position, the treasurer, the authority to take funds and invest them as she sees and can do. So what she does is she goes and she basically farms it out, says, hey, what is this, what is this, what is this, different financial institutions, and then she would put it in the best place for us. And that is her, part of her job as the treasurer. So what I'm saying is we've got, Sean, you're like the most patient man in the world today. But we've got projects like, eventually we'd like to do a new clubhouse. We've got bathrooms, we've got those things that we need to do. Why not create some money where there is none, Let's take 250,000 of that money we've got right now. Let's invest it, and if it's got, high returns, we might make 50,000 a year off of it. That's a possibility.
But should we do that now, before we're talking about doing this other thing with the water?
I think
Until
we
we get
put it away as fast as we can, so it doesn't burn a hole in anybody's
is
pocket.
it a penalty if we have to end up using that if we?
That's
need
all
it?
stuff Lori can figure out.
Yeah, that is, I mean, when you buy a CD, you're committing to, if you buy a short-term one, or, one for 1 year, you can buy them 2 years, 5 years, 10.
Keep in mind, the profitability of the golf course is still gonna continue. We haven't missed one beat. When I pulled in on the 8th of July, were you with me that day, or? I think we were a little bit behind, but we pulled on the 8th of July, and the pro shop was selling candy bars and water, and that golf course was packed. And it hasn't stopped except for the day that it was raining real hard.
Well, here's a question, and I don't know, this is, the treasurer, everybody's got their own checkbook, and I mean, this is a question, I don't know how it works behind Lori's job works. But everybody's got a checkbook. Do we know if we've got a separate, an account with cash in it? I didn't think so.
Because we're just like the rec, the golf, so all the cash, this has a combined, let's see, cash and combined cash fund. We have one too, because I asked the same question a couple of years ago, because I was wanting to know if it was.
Yeah.
But it's not, it's all together, and it's all accounted for here. So we have 4 CDs, the rec does, and, one of them's got 55,000, and that was all done before I got there. We got almost 700,000 in 4 CDs, I believe, and one of them's got 235. Now, we've had to take the interest off because we've been buying HVAC units.
Yeah.
We've needed the cash. We're not, I think we were net 135,000 this last year, June 30, where, here we're almost 300. But and Lori's done it, she shops them out, and I think they're 3 and 5 year, I think is what they are.
Do you know, does she take those, whatever excess owner's equity would be on a regular deal? Does she take that and say, okay, this is the profit, whatever you want to call it, that the rec center has, or the golf course has, and we're going to tie this money to the golf course or to the rec center, and we're going to buy CDs. So she doesn't pool all the money to get,
No.
I mean, well,
So to get a better rate.
yeah,
No, it's all
No,
individual.
And it's done kind of in real time. So we've got a couple through the city. The fire department's got one that they do their fire truck fund with. I think yours are in 2 different banks. But what she does is she'll go out and she'll look for the best rates, the best return, and then that's where she puts that chunk of money. But it is then earmarked for that department. So, this will never go anywhere but for the golf course. But the intent is we can say that we're putting, like the fire department, BK puts his away for fire truck fund, and it goes into as fire truck fund, and then he takes that fire truck fund, and that's what she invests, is that whole fund. And that's what we would do. We would create a long-term capital specifically for projects coming, and if we had things where we needed to do like they've done and pull some of that interest off, I don't think you've been penalized on the interest. But,
Nobody's waiting till it comes due.
yeah, and we just do it. But the point is that would then say, when we get down the road, if we don't touch that interest, it's all that much. We can turn 250,000 into 400,000 in a couple of years. Man, that sounds like a dang good idea to me.
Wait a second. You can turn 250,000.
Well, I'm using hypothetical, you know what I'm saying?
Okay,
But what I'm saying is,
Where can I get in?
yes.
you know what I'm saying?
No, I'll
We
sign
can-
up.
We can turn that into a larger amount and that's why we do that. And, BK's bought 2 fire trucks that way. And he's got the minute he bought a new one, we put more in the next. And he does it at 150K a time.
Well, CDs right now are paying about maybe 4%.
4.75,
So
already there.
that's, it's not a bad idea. I just didn't realize the funds were segregated by, that we could actually take the funds, because we've had this discussion before about being able to take the golf course funds and putting them back.
I think it's a safe thing and it's a good message to the Pryor golfing community that we're looking ahead and we're putting away for ahead. We're not just spending it because we got it. I think,
Okay.
So on a financial question, are we at the end of a fiscal year?
we just started a new one.
Okay, I was just wondering, so.
We took this on 7 days after the start of the fiscal year.
So do we have, are the numbers that Mike's talking about here, is like, that almost $300,000, is that what the golf course profited last year?
From the 25, 26 year.
And when will those numbers be available?
Well, we
Hannah?
got it about a week ago.
Hannah just printed them out not too long ago. And if you'll reach out to Hannah, she can give you whatever numbers she has that are available. That's not,
Okay.
it's
Could
not,
you just give them to us at the next council, or
I can, would you?
park board meeting?
I'd like to get a hold of them.
Jay will have those ready for you in the next one.
How about, are they published now?
Somewhere, yeah. That's why I say, if you reach out to Hannah, she can get.
Okay, well, I'll,
Do I just need to email them?
Thank you.
Can you just email it to her?
Yeah.
She'll email it out.
okay.
Okay.
That's easy.
So, do we want to take some funds to do this?
Bless you.
And what was your proposed amount to utilize to make this
I don't
investment?
think I'd go any higher than 250 right now, but I think if we start with 2, we can always add 50,000 later. We can add what we need, but I think 2 is probably where I'd start.
Rec centers is maintenance reserve.
So we profited almost 300,000, so what does that put us at?
What would you say?
So we had 300,000 or so extra this year, so where does that put us? 640
something, wasn't it?
That's that's the cash account,
Okay,
but the net after expense.
it was 300, but Chris was talking about the big number that we have left in the checking is 646, okay.
That's gonna grow quickly now because all of the other costs that we didn't have, that we wasn't getting, or all the profit from what we wasn't getting will now be in there. So that number will grow probably should grow at a faster rate.
So let's just briefly talk bonuses, right? You take, there are 2 different payouts on bonuses that were done. Green fees and cart fees, and then there was the memberships, right? 2 of those combined, and I don't want to say, it's not that I don't want to say, I don't want to get it wrong, but 2 of those were paid out by Darla, 1 was paid out by Lisa. The ones that Darla tabulated up were about 50, just literally $100 under 56,000 in bonuses. And the other one was just about 30,000. So you got about 80 grand in just bonuses alone that we're not paying out right now. And that's, that's based on good year, bad year, but
And Mayor, I would just point out that, for the sake of better understanding it, every one of those bonuses and those contracts for those bonuses was signed and put together by your counterparts, previous administrations.
I've been
Park
very,
Board had nothing to do with those bonus structures. They were mayors that made those decisions, for years,
Yeah.
and never ran them by us for the last
oh yeah.
15 or 20 years. But just so the
Public knows?
public knows as to, but I will tell you what, here's the other thing. The proof is in the pudding. And when we get the financials over the next year, we'll know where those bonus, because I don't know that I'm ready to say, that was a waste of money. We'll see. The P&Ls will tell us the story
Right.
of how well we're doing and how much excess we have.
Well, I think right now, we will stay the course, but no pun intended, I think the big thing is, we just have to make sure that as we rebrand slowly and organically, the main sign, get that done, little things here and there, that we contractually remove the things that we need to remove. That's gonna be little, a box of.
Low hanging fruit.
Yeah, that's stuff that's just day-to-day operational things. But the other thing is, we do have large capital expenses that we knew, Dennis and I talked a lot about this bunker rake. That should be there hopefully Monday. But that's 30 grand that needed to be spent. Next is gonna be another mower. This afternoon's gonna be a push mower. But those are things we have to do. And that's all been things that we've spent money on, whether it was the bridges or it was this. So those things, we don't get lost in what we're spending operationally. But what I am doing is, and Mike's got access to it, and Hannah, is everything that I'm spending right now under this open ticket that the council has given, I'm keeping very to the penny track of what that is. So that when it's done, I can say, okay, to get this up and going, we're at 69,000 right now. And that includes the 51,000 to buy the pro shop. That just doesn't include my fuel.
And I also want to make sure the record's correct on this. You were talking about money being spent and no capital improvements, I think was your comment.
I didn't say
Maybe-
none. I think we have to say clearly there's a lot that needed to be done.
Okay, but you do know that we put all new cart paths out there last year.
Oh, we've been very vocal about that, yeah.
$250,000. We've got brand-new bridges.
New bridges, we've got new sod that's been laid out, a lot of that
Yeah.
out there. When we're talking, well, you know what we're saying. I mean, the point is, when we talk about break rooms for the guys out mowing, they should have had an air conditioner. We got a pro shop that should have been wrapped. Now, we're not going backwards. I won't. You guys can, I'm not. I'll be done. But the point is, we have a building right now that's not well insulated, and you can reach up and grab a chunk of wood and take it home with you. That, whether it was their responsibility, our responsibility, Santa's responsibility, typically, that lease should have said that and this is typical for corporate leases, is that if you are the lease holder, right, and your guy comes in and leases that building from you in a corporate scenario, they're typically responsible for care and maintenance of the building, ACs and things like that. In my background, we put $12,000 in air conditioners, and that didn't come from our landlord. That was our responsibility. Patching the roof, that was our job. That's typical. That's typical business. But when we look at it now, none of that matters. It's our building. It's ours to repair. I'm not putting blame on neglect. I'm not saying any of it. What I'm saying is we got capital expenses that when you take over anything, you're going to have to put some capital in. And we've got to get that building up to where it is. Gosh,
Are you talking about the pro shop?
I'm talking about more than the pro shop, but primarily, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got the cart buildings, the cart stalls. Those have got to be fixed. We've got driveways. We've got parking lot things. There's a lot that needs to be addressed. And I know that they had that on their to-dos, but it wasn't their to-dones for whatever reason. And so we're going to look at what we can and the end goal is to make that a better experience than it was yesterday.
Well, and I understand what you're saying, and I'm just for the sake of the public that may be, I would say that cart barn has been out there for, yeah, 50, 60 years.
Yeah.
But are you gonna raise rates on the carts? Rentals?
Look,
That's not gonna be something that gets a return on the investment.
If we can keep the level of membership and activity out there, we'll be fine.
If we keep the course in good condition, there's a waiting list for those carts.
Yeah, so today, ironically, Pryor was out there, and he came in and he said to another gentleman who was in that Monday club, hey, number 9 just vacated out. You want it? And the attorney said, hey, Boomer, put me in number 9. I mean, it was that fast.
There's high demand for that cart barn.
No, and I think if we can, whatever we can do to step it up from yesterday, that's what we're gonna do. And, and Mike is.
What are you talking about? Adding more or?
Like I said earlier, building a new barn, tear it down.
And get
make
rid of the
parking.
old stuff and level it to the ground, and that creates more parking.
Yeah,
Do we not have a waiting list?
we do.
Yeah.
We do.
But you got more demand than you got supply.
So we know we need to replace them because they're bad. That's something Dennis has been begging for a long time, but it just hasn't been in the budget. And what I'm saying is, maybe it's not about buying it outright. Maybe we take like a mortgage type scenario with a local bank and we pay it off incrementally. Maybe that's what some of that money that we put away goes. The interest can go, heck, I think the number that I got from them was about $2,000 a month for that size building that I mentioned earlier. Look, $20,000 in interest a year pays most of that. And the interest alone could pay for that new building. We get that building built, nice concrete slab, we migrate everybody into there and we doze the old and make some parking. Now you've got a safer, better scenario and a building that looks clean, we've stepped it up. How many more people are gonna say, hey, I'm coming up there?
Are you thinking about adding cart stalls?
No, I'm thinking about a communal building that has basically a key fob, and you would pay for a slot. And a lot of the golf courses that I've looked at throughout my travels in the last couple months have it. And you'll have power that hangs down, and they can plug into that. And then every 2 spots gets like a steel locker. And that's a shared locker, but it's assigned out. And you can do down one side all the way down, you can do a row in the middle and down the other, and I can promise you right now, that's more space than we have renting now, and that'll take care of some of that waiting list. But these guys will have a fob, the only ones in, and then we put cameras on the doors. We know everybody coming and going. Very secure. Let's bring that up in the next meeting.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into these.
Let's do, because I think that is something that we definitely want to look at and say, does this contribute to the long-term problem?
And I don't want to give away my whole members' meeting tonight. I got other things to talk to them about, so.
So, 200,000.
That's reasonable.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, so I need a motion.
I make a motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Buffington,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yep.
Graves,
Yes.
Shelby,
Yep.
Shawless.
Yep.
Awesome.
So let's put that on the council.
Sean, come up here for a second. So, Mike, you wasn't a part of this, so I'm gonna get to bring you up to speed. So, I don't know, I use Claremore as kind of as an idea that I had, because I was over at a golf tournament, and their bathrooms are very nice, and out front, they've got soda machines. You can, if you can stop there and get a soda. If it's hot or right, there's an area for them to park under. I mean, very, very nice built bathrooms. And if you look at the one we have at 5, I mean, it's held up by whatever's held up by, and it's nasty. So the thought was to go down by 18, where those trees and stuff, there's a big opening to build another one, just like it is off of the 14.
Yep.
14, build one just like 14 right there. So you would have 2 nice bathrooms, close, with an overhang for like bad weather or heat or whatever. We could also put soda machines out there. But the idea was, whatever we do, we need to brand it to such a way that we're not looking, like 1950 when that was built. And we're a little bit more modern. And the idea was having to come up with something that looks sort of like what the district has. Kind of, if we're going to brand something, at least let's make it look forward-thinking because our next step at some point should be a pro shop and try to improve upon that. So I told Sean, this is kind of the idea. We had like a 6 foot or 10 foot wide strip there, so you park, 4 carts underneath there for weather. Or if it's too hot, I mean, there was several things, but at the whole deal was, let's modernize it, make it look nicer. So Sean come up with some ideas and some plans, and, we kind of just left it there. So we're kind of at a point to where that's on the to-do. We have to put better bathroom in the story.
Yep.
Roy, you can attest to it. I mean,
Yeah.
I did ask the guys if their front end loader would push over that 1x6, and they said they'll see.
okay.
I just wanted to know if their tractor had any strength to it, so. That's
It,
not for what it's worth.
it needs a new home. It's terrible. So Sean kind of came up and gave us some ideas of.
Yeah.
And I don't think we ever got to really present it, but it would be a good idea, try to give us some type of idea.
Sure.
Because if we're gonna go forward with some of this other stuff, we need to get that projected in our budget.
Well, and Keith, if I can add, I appreciate it, and thank you, Mayor. I mentioned me being patient and stuff. Guy waiting to talk about bathrooms that long. And again, not necessarily just specifically about bathrooms. I mean, there's been vision plans, master plans, et cetera, done over the years for this course and stuff. And my interest is, more to just the whole aspect of what's gonna happen in the future here. It's not just, hey, we're gonna do a bathroom and call it good. There's a big picture, and you guys are making some moves right now, even talking about some of the things that you're doing with, the pumps and water and having some sort of, vision towards the future and stuff. And I think that just the image of the course is part of that as well, because it's, it's sort of a gem to Pryor. People know about it. They come out here for it. They see it. And to Keith's point and stuff, I mean, it's got kind of a style to it, and it's a little outdated. It's a little bit falling apart. I mean, you have to fix a few things. But there's sort of an image, there's an aesthetic that's kind of happening out towards that course. The district is kind of a sort of prime example of it. And just in some conversations with Keith and stuff, we kind of talked about, well, what does that look like? Well, do we, does it have this, does it have that? And we didn't quite get to the point of being able to work up a lot of those images. And I put a proposal together, said, Keith, look, here's some, time and effort involved in sort of, scheming out designs. There's some time and effort involved in drawing these things up and getting the engineer to, because there were some components and stuff to it structurally that we had talked about. So that's a lot of what I kind of shared with Keith and stuff. So at this point, I think we're kind of at the cusp of saying, okay, is it something that we want to kind of go through the exercise and look at images and talk about, what is the aesthetic? What are we going to go for? Because even as the mayor's talking about, if they're talking about new barn building for the or new storage building for the carts, is there some selections of colors? There's some selections of material and whatnot you want to make there, so that it kind of fits the aesthetic. Because going forward, there's probably something that you want to tie all this together and make some sort of kind of cohesive look to this. So that's all I've got to add to that.
Questions?
Yeah, are you at a point yet where you've got, kind of give us a range of maybe if we started with just functionality, just a bathroom that, looked like a lean-to or something, but, no.
I don't know what you got right now.
Kind of back to low.
Put together the mud dauber mud?
Yeah. If we looked at just the low end versus, so what kind of range are we talking about? Do you have a sense of that?
Are you talking construction cost of it, like
Total rolled in cost, is it between 75,000 and 150?
well, and I mean, I hadn't kind of sat there and studied the aesthetic of it. I mean, you're probably at top dollar 200,000 or so. I mean, that's really where you are with sort of a little bit broader aesthetic. I mean, that's it, and it's a small building. It's not going to. There's not a lot of complication to it. It's kind of getting to what you like, getting everything kind of approved and
to a point where everybody can say, yeah, that's the look.
So that's kind of a
what it is.
planning number to work with.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's probably, kind of fair where it might be. I mean, you're talking about, you got overhead and profit and cost and whatnot. There's some utility service that's gonna have to go out there to that location. There's some site prep work that's gonna have to happen there and stuff as well. So, I mean, it's, there's probably a little effort. I don't know how much of that is sweat equity. But there's probably some of it that's, you're not gonna be able to kind of do on your own. It's gonna be something you're gonna have to hire.
It just about makes sense then, if we're gonna do the cart barn, to do the bathroom at the same time.
And here's, I know I'm always the one that seems like it's throwing the fly in the ointment. But we talked about here recently a new cart barn. We've talked about a new bathroom. We talked about this deal we just spent time on, let's say it's another couple hundred. We've run between $600,000 and $700,000 worth of capital projects.
Yep.
Kind of on the plate
Yep.
right here tonight.
Easily.
And so I think we're, and I know that's what we're talking about, but it's something we have to kind of think about as we go forward of prioritizing maybe of, and I don't know if you were asking us tonight, are you looking for something to say, where does this fit in the priorities? Or,
So my thought was, because if we're talking priorities, everything we discussed tonight, pumps, the water, irrigation, the bathrooms, fixing at the pro shop, and even the, cart stalls, one has to live with the other. It's just, we're at a point to where, I mean, you start looking at it and, which one needs a bigger Band-Aid? And that's what we've done for a long time, and we've just kicked the can down the road. And now you get everything at one time. It's like, your washer goes out, you might as well buy a dryer, because it's inevitably gonna be the next thing, and this goes out, and then this goes out. So you look at your run failure, well, we've ran it as long as we could, so the usefulness of it has been far gone a long time ago, and, something that had value it's gone because its usefulness is done, and the bathrooms are a must.
okay, and here's what I would say that is, you have eliminated one thing we talked about tonight. There's no reason to go buy CDs if we do all those projects. I'm just saying the process of going through these and figuring out what our priorities are and what we want to attack first, because we've got more demand than we have supply right now, just on the finances. And we need to think about that as far as,
Well, if we roll it in to do the cart, we could do a total package and say, Sean, design cart stalls and design the bathroom, so they'll both look the same. And then we could have one payment of,
Say, are you gonna borrow the money for both of those?
I think so,
Okay.
I would. And if you're putting it on, we wouldn't have to pull it out of our savings. It's like anything else, it's a payment.
If you did something like that, when you had your overages at the end of every year, could you make it maybe a larger
I think I would.
lump sum to try to pay it down quicker?
I think that's what I would do.
Okay.
there may be some issues around our ability to do that. I don't know there's some, and I don't know what the rules are, about obligating future administrations with debt. Do you guys know?
We just have to discuss it with legal.
Okay. I don't know if you have to go through a bond issue or vote of the people or, but, okay. That's,
Another day.
But we need
So let me,
prices One
So
less
I-
deal.
Right, that's something we gotta do, to put all this together.
So, last time you were here, you presented us with a very nice concept drawing.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that looked great.
Yeah.
So we got the process now that we want to hire him to
Yep.
start coming up with conceptual drawings. I mean, maybe that's not the right term, but,
Yeah.
pay him to start drawing. Is that where we're at tonight?
I think we looked at the original concept, and that was sort of a conversation with Keith and Dennis and myself, and just, come up with an idea. And then from that conversation, it was, well, what's kind of the overall look here? What are we looking for here? And then it was the conversation about, well, what's using the district as sort of as a model. Okay. That's sort of the next conversation, is taking what we started with, kind of revising that, making some changes to that, saying, okay, well, what looks a little bit more like the district, because it's not quite the same. So trying to do that revision, and then, really kind of talking about kind of finalizing an actual design document that can be bid and constructed from there, so.
Any other questions? There's not anything to vote on yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
It's just, I
Okay.
wanted Sean to get some, be a part of this conversation, especially because we're gonna start doing some other things. I'd like for him to at least be involved, that way we have a cost and idea of what we're talking about to get done.
So what is the cost to get to that point, to draw it up, or,
Well, it depends on what Sean, he'll do some of that homework and come back.
and then
Yeah.
he'll tell, okay.
Yeah, I can give you updates and stuff, proposal. Yep.
So let's get together one day next week.
Okay.
What, if anybody else wanna be involved, I'll send out a calendar invite or call everybody and kind of tell them that way. You gotta come out. It'd be a good time.
Yeah.
It really would, because you get some education about the golf course.
I would most definitely like to be a part of that. I'm a non-golfer, and I think that's also what needs to be brought into this equation, is somebody who doesn't even participate in the sport, but wants to see it succeed. I want it to be pleasing to me, even if I go out there to walk.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd love to be a part of that.
I mean, over the years, again, we've had so many ideas about what is planned, what could be a vision plan, a master plan, whatever it is, with the clubhouses and, eateries and all sorts of stuff that's, it does sort of cater to the golfer, but it could cater to the non-golfer as well. I mean, people want to
Because
go
I
out
know
there.
the trails out there, I mean, the
Yeah.
paths, they're all, you can go out there and make a day of just walking that alone. And that's a hell of a walk.
Well, I think it'd be useful for us too. We're talking about, the bathrooms, and this is gonna be set up, and,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of that conversation can be done. Sean can be a part of it to help us, and get some better ideas of what we're gonna do. I just wanted everybody to be up front. I
On
know
the
about
course,
it.
are the bathrooms male and female?
Mhm.
Okay, because I've not used them on the course, I've
Yeah,
gone to golf.
they are male and female.
Okay.
So they both will be, the bathrooms will be just like they are
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Besides, useful. The doors will shut.
That's always helpful.
That's nice.
Right, Roy?
Right.
That's when I go in the pro shop.
And there'll be enough room to maneuver in them.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll have to use a 5-gallon pail to pour the water into the back of the toilet. Right, Roy?
Right. I've not had to do that though, so I don't know. I just go behind the trees.
So, we'll get together next
Yeah,
week, and I'll
absolutely.
get everybody together, get a good time for everybody, and we can get that done. But I just want everybody to kind of know, and meet Sean, and that way, everybody's involved, and we can, be good to have some type of conceptual ideas, so we know what we're gonna go for.
I appreciate it.
Thanks, Sean.
Yeah.
Sean, appreciate your interest in this. I know you're going above and beyond. You've had several meetings with us, and
Sure.
do appreciate just your interest.
Well, it's my community.
Yeah.
Golf course, I've been kind of a part of it since, 20-plus years, and, been out there, and my kids all play out there, and I play out there, and we enjoy the time, and, part of the community.
If you've not, the feel, everything we've done tonight, talked about, has been with the local people, and to me, that's the most important. People who care about the golf course and use it and want to see it succeed, that's a good thing.
Yep.
we're not having to go outside of our community to look for these things. They're right in our community and making them useful. Awesome, thank you, Sean.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you.
All right, the last thing we have is discuss possible recommend to council action to create a new job description for head golf professional and groundskeeper of the golf course. So, in the past, it's always been one and the same, but I think we're to the point we need somebody, Mike, you put your 2 cents in. I think we need somebody that is directly anything outside of that hut, for instance, groundskeeper. Everything else, professional inside.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we, Zach, we've been, just talking more about the turf, somebody to take care of the grass. I mean, that's what they come for, green grass and mowed greens and I grew up out there playing. We didn't have water in the fairways, but we wished we had. But that was, in the 70s.
Oh, yeah.
But,
Got a good roll, though,
you
didn't you?
got it, yeah, we got
We got it now too, though.
the old worm burner, you can make that happen. But, yeah, I think, we're fortunate, with Dennis's credentials, being a pro and all, but that, the turf management is the key, I think. So being able to, orchestrate what all is going on out there with the personnel that we have, and like we've been saying, I think we have quality people. And then, take care of the, if Boomer happens to be the guy long-term, that'd be great. Again, another kind of a local kid, and he's kind of, this golfing thing, is kind of like talking to Cartwright, he kind of grew up out there too, and, there's all these deep roots out there, it's kind of nice to see that, because those people have passion and they want to see it be good and succeed and grow and do all the things. And but if we can keep the grass growing, that'll keep the cash flowing.
That's right.
I mean, it really will. And, because that's what, as a golfer, you just, you want to have nice greens, number one, and then, hey, you put the fairways in there. I mean, that's, back in my day, we were hoping for water in the fairways, but now it's an expectation, and to keep them mowed and everything groomed properly. And if we can get the watering system going, then, like I said, I think that'll free our guys up to do more of the minute details of manicure and really raise the bar out there. But yeah, I think, we can, I've already, when all this kind of started to come to fruition, where Dennis was gonna be leaving and all that, looked at job descriptions and and there's a multitude of stuff out there, but we can tailor something to kind of fit what we want. But I guess that'd be my recommendation, is to do something along those lines. So, Zach, we've had numerous conversations about it, so, I don't know if you want to add anything.
Yeah, try and make it quick.
Yeah, we've had a long one, but we've had a lot to discuss tonight.
Yeah. So I said earlier, the golf community has been tremendously helpful. Whether it's other director of golfs from other courses or just people here local. One of those has been Ryan Snyder, who is the director of golf at Shangri-La. He has sent us all of his job descriptions for everything down to the weed eater guy. And they're very in-depth, they're very in detail. I had Jay take some of those and kind of put it on our letterhead and let's see what it looks like. Mike and I are going to start going down through those. Of course, some of those things that apply to Shangri-La aren't going to apply here. Cherokee, Patriot, they're not going to apply to us. We need to tailor it, but it gives us a good platform to start. Also with that, SOPs, trying to figure out how to work that up. We get these guys that are mowing and watering. Let's get an SOP. That's the standard operating procedures. Let's get that out there. So that, like we said, all these things that should somebody disappear or go away or whatever, that knowledge doesn't just go with them. Because there's going to be the guy like me who, last time I held a golf club, the guy that looked at me and said, "You play baseball?" "Yeah, why?" He goes, "Because you're holding it like a baseball bat." So, the idea is people like me that, or like you said, you're not a golfer. Exactly. It doesn't mean we're not capable, but we need to have those standard operating procedures ready to go, digital files, job descriptions. We're trying to get that for all the city staff for everything. you know, we're working on that too. This has been, I'd say, very, very exhaustive, but it's been very rewarding. So as we continue to do that, we'll get those knocked out. We'll get it done, see what we really need. But I'm going to tell you right now, here's my opinion. And Mike kind of touched on it. We don't need another PGA pro. We don't need it. We got Boomer working on his. What we need is somebody who can manage the course, somebody who loves the course, local, preferably somebody who's got some years to go, somebody who the community can respond well to. We need somebody who can just manage the thing and manage the staff and keep that level of integrity that the Bowman set, keep that going forward. And that's what I preach to that crew every day is, Chris, I know you're tired, but I saw some leaves over there on number 3. You need to get somebody out there, blow it off. It looks good. Take it up another step. So those are the things we're going to work in those job descriptions. What is, you know, as we take Kobe from filling carts out to weed eating, what does that job look like? Do we have a job description for that? Do we have it? And one of those is director of golf. What does that look like for us? Because it's going to be different than somebody that has a resort. We don't have that. So we're working on that. As we get those done, we'll share them, we'll email. You guys can look at them, give your 2 cents, but it's one of 1,000 things we got going on right now, so have a little patience, a little grace with that.
I guess there are no job descriptions.
Just,
Well,
For anybody.
right.
So what you gave us tonight in our packet was just kind of sample.
Let me see what you got.
Now we know why it's.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
this
3
is
we
the-
talked about.
Yeah, so this is,
So we're gonna continue to work and modify
Okay.
those. But yeah, that's what.
okay, so I thought those were actual positions we were
No.
getting ready to.
No.
Some won't. We'll have to tailor.
Okay, all right.
But we need a I think we do need groundskeeper. I do know that having, you know, Cartwright and,
Philip and.
Phil, you know, Cartwright, the reason why he went to college for what he did was because of Dennis. Dennis was his reasoning to go. And quite honestly, to have that caliber person that's that interested is very rare.
Yeah.
And to have you know, to me, I think if we've got the perfect solution would be anything that's green, they take care of. Anything that's in that building, somebody else takes care
So
of.
on that point, we've talked a little bit about this too, Keith. Just so you know, we didn't just have a straight up. We talk a lot about some of this. So I've been trying to, you guys asked for better communication. I've been really trying to give that to your chair. What we've really kind of looked at is, you know, the certifications, the herbicide, what are some of those, my mind is shot, I'm sorry. The fertilizer, the irrigation, stuff like that. I gave each of the crew right now a task. Chris, he's been there the longest, he's been the main guy on the greens. Chris, I want you to go get that herbicide pest, and I want you to, or test, and I want you to do it now. Jamie, you've been working on the irrigation more than anything. I want you to work on your irrigation testing, and I want you to pass it. When you're done, I want you both to switch. When you both have done that, then I want you to help we need to have everybody out there on that green within reason. I don't mean we don't need all the temps out there, but we need everybody that's full-time to have every one of those certifications and be an expert at what they do. That licensure was, what do we say, $55. It's a lot of questions. It's 1,001 questions, but it's $55. We'll pay for it. If they can pass it, I'll pay for it. Then it's them. And that way we're not locked into a scenario where one guy has it. And when that one guy leaves, we got nobody. So Cartwright would fall into that. Philip Newell's already been working on his. He's already been started on that before he even came to us. So I think getting everybody out there cross-trained and certified is really the way we need to look at that. And that needs to be our standard, and that needs to be in the job descriptions, that you need to be able to pass that test within a year, or you're gonna be weed eating. I mean, that's how it has to work. That grass is our bread and butter.
Yeah, fortunately,
Somebody
yes, it is.
Somebody was telling me a story today about a guy in, you weren't there, maybe you were there, it was somewhere in southwest Oklahoma. They hired a kid, and the kid wasn't certified in the chemicals. They told him to go out and spray, and he was supposed to be out there spraying fertilizer, and he put LD-44 in there,
Oh, he killed everything.
killed every one of their greens. How do you recover from that? If he'd have been trained, he'd have known what he was putting in there. So that's where we're at. Wouldn't mean to take away from that, but we're trying to get those descriptions in place based on the needs of Pryor, using the resources from other courses. I think that's, and Mike's helping me with that.
So part of that, should be us as well. So we, everybody has a hand in it. Everybody understands, so when the question gets from the public, here's the answer. And I think it's important that we all have a hand in this.
I'm going to, I met with Boomer today because I was wanting some input from him too, trying to learn all the little details like in the pro shop. So he's kind of the first one that I'm doing. And so I can share that all with you to kind of give it a once over, make sure we're covering all the bases and all. But yeah, we got to get him because he's the point man out there.
Yep.
And so.
He's doing a good job.
Yeah.
He really is doing a good job.
He's exceptional.
It's just, I think it's the environment's all young,
Yeah.
so older people kind of
Yeah.
steers them away a little bit, so maybe we need somebody older to,
Just mentor him through it a little bit, and he's got all the knowledge, it's just some of the experience handling some of that, so.
yeah.
So-
Well, let's table D, because we're working on it, but everybody's aware of it. And Chris, I know you'll have questions that we probably need to add to them, what some of that job is. I know you will. I know everybody should have some questions that they want to add to them, but at least that gets us a baseline of what, grounds are doing and what's the inside doing.
Should we be at the meeting that you're gonna have with the members at the district?
Can if you want to.
Do we need to?
I think that might be a good idea.
You can be there, but understand that's gonna be a meeting for me to listen to them.
Right, but I mean, I think it would do us good to sit and listen to what
It's
they.
just if you guys are
YouTube.
gonna come be there to listen as well, and I don't wanna be.
You had one of those one Saturday morning,
Taking over
right?
their opportunity to share with me what they
It'd
need.
be nice to hear what they have to say.
If all of you are coming, we do need to post it as a meeting, which I don't mind
Nope.
doing, I just need to
Nope.
know that,
Well,
because it would be a quorum.
if there's more than three,
Oh, seriously, even though we're not going
Yep.
as a partner?
Yes.
because we're together
Well, but-
talking about
now,
business.
I have a
when's the meeting
question.
gonna be?
Since two of you are
I
members,
get the date from, see when the building's available.
does that make a difference? Because
No.
you would be.
No,
oh,
because you still have
Be between
the same
council
parties.
Yeah, we don't want to post it as a meeting.
It'll be on a Tuesday evening, in between council meetings, so, has to be, because they got their farmer's market and stuff out there, and I got council meetings.
But for those of you who want to go, I'm going to sit out. So there's one down.
I know
It just
I
can't
will.
be more than three,
Right.
right?
No, that's fine. I just was curious. I didn't realize it would turn into a meeting, so, no,
Yeah.
I'm good.
It's like if four of us are talking, it's considered a meeting.
We'll just hear from you what all they had to say.
All right. The last thing on mine is we're gonna table D, which covers all of our meeting. I need somebody to make a motion to adjourn.
Hey, I've got one quick, I just want to, I want to emphasize my point on the capital projects thing of going out to the shop area and checking that out.
Oh, yeah.
Because that building is in tough shape. Both buildings are in very tough shape.
You walk in there, when we walked in there today to look for just where the information for those, water system was, it's just, hey, your turn to put stuff up. Hey, it's your turn to put stuff up. And it's just been
It's everywhere.
hatched together, and it's just a bomb in there.
Yeah, when I took a
not-
tour through that place a month ago, or less than a month ago,
And
it's in bad shape.
It's worse on the outside, the rotting of that wood siding.
Yeah.
Than, far
Yeah,
worse
it's in
than a
bad
pro
shape.
shop. So,
At least much
From bad
to be
to worse.
desired.
and on that note,
All right, so we have a motion.
Second, First Amendment,
Who motion?
I made the motion.
second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Hey, Mike, thank you for kind of doing double duty. We appreciate